Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get into over these next 3 hours. Plenty to discuss: college football, NFL, some college basketball. The Tigers, they were winners last night at home against Temple. Grizzlies in action right now in Berlin against the Orlando Magic, currently trailing by 7 points. So we'll keep you updated on that as the third quarter about to wrap up there. So a lot going on around the sports world. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. And the Tiger win last night at least averted for a little while longer what the reaction would have been if it hadn't been for a very narrow 55-53 win. But instead they get the win, and that's the object of the game. But it was not well played.
No, it wasn't. And, a game where the Tigers led by 13 points in the second half, had an opportunity to win that game by double digits. At times, I thought they were going to kind of cruise to a victory. And then it kind of felt like the way a lot of Tiger games have played out this year, last year, where, they get up. It feels like, okay, this is going to be easy. And then the last however many minutes of the game are a little uncomfortable, and you had Temple go on the run. They make it a 2-point game and have an opportunity to tie it, take a lead with the ball with 13 seconds left. Ultimately, they miss the shot, and the Tigers win. But, yeah, nothing about that was pretty last night, but ultimately get the win. More injuries with Aaron Bradshaw going down with an injury last night. Not much news on him. They said no structural damage after the game last night, which is good, but no idea yet on what that means for him in timed miss. So, it was a win at the end of the day, but it was another game that just wasn't very pretty.
It was a win at home in the American, and now 8-8 for the year. The Tigers will play minimum 32 games, the 31 regular season games, and 1 in Birmingham. So we're at a halfway point.
Yeah, we are, and it feels like no matter who you talk to, nobody really knows what to make of this team. It's really.
Well, I think I do. I think I know what to make of. It's not very good. It's not coached very well.
But still, I feel like you can say they're not very good, but I feel like you get kind of a different game every single night. We have so many questions. I guess my bigger point is we're halfway through and we still have so many questions about this team, right? I'm with you. There
are a few positives around this team.
Yes, they're not a very good team, but we've got coaches and players coming out talking about they don't know what they're having trouble figuring out what the pecking order on this team is, and we're halfway through the season. Not many other teams in the country can say that, whether they're a good or a bad team. What's the starting lineup look like? Another different starting lineup last night. 12th and 16 games for the Tiger. Well, what is the starting five? There's just so many questions that really shouldn't be questions this far into a season.
Why does Ashton Hardaway play so much?
Yeah, there are a ton of questions with this team that really should not be questions this far into the season, but they are, and now the Tigers will turn around on Sunday and take on UTSA, another game that should be very winnable for them. And we'll see if they can get it done and start maybe stacking some wins on each other.
Sure could start that and would need that, another very, very thin crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It wasn't a great crowd, and we kind of expected that yesterday. When you talk about the way the team's playing this conference, it's not a recipe for a lot of people to show up, and we saw that again last night with the crowd that you got, ESPN Plus game. But just not a great crowd, not a great performance, but a win is a win, 55-53. There were some good in that game last night, but still a lot of uncertainty with this team.
It is, and with this league, we know it's a one-bid league, and we know it's going to be a league seated in the teens.
Oh yeah, no question about it. When you talk about one bid leagues, we're not talking about, can Memphis get on the 8-9 line like we feel like we talk about every single year. It's going to be 12, 13 type of range for this American. Maybe probably 14 I guess could be in the mix, but it's going to be somewhere in their teens, which is going to mean a very tough first round game for whoever that team is, whether it's Memphis or another team in this conference. Is going to be a really tough first game in the bracket. I'm trying to go and look where Lenardi.
I have not looked at the net all year.
I have not either. You know how I feel about the net. I really do not care about the net.
Last year was not the net's finest moment.
No, and it's usually in the eye of the beholder. And I'm not one to love the net. But I'm trying to see where Joe Lenardi has a team in the
American 14.
Okay, 14. So yeah, so you'd be somewhere in that range.
I did look at that. That's the only mock I've looked at all year.
Yeah.
I said until after the Super Bowl I wasn't looking at any net, any mock.
Well, as you can tell, I haven't really been looking too closely. But yeah, Temple as the 14 seed and would play the 3 seed if you're a 14 seed. So
Memphis win on Sunday. I think they'd be in that spot next week in Lenardi.
Well, I mean,
for what that's worth.
Sure, yeah, who cares? I mean, they're just putting placeholders in there for the American and a lot of these other conferences. So, but if you're a 14, you're playing a 3 seed, you're going to play, somebody really, really tough right now. For what it's worth, in Lenardi's bracket, the 3 seeds are Illinois, Houston, Nebraska, and BYU. All really, really good teams. Would be really, really tough opponents. But that's what you're going to get when you are a one-bid conference. And when you're a team like most of these teams in the Americans.
I don't even know the various pod sites this year. I think St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis.
I think
is in
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City is in there. Those are the 2 close ones. I'm seeing if anything else kind of jumps out as close. No, not really. Buffalo, San Diego, Tampa, Portland, Philadelphia.
San Diego to play BYU.
Yeah, no, that would not be
rough.
That would not be fun at all. So yeah,
and we know BYU first and second round would have to be Thursday, Saturday games.
That's right. Yeah, because of the religion. So yeah, I mean it's going to be weird come bracket time and kind of where any of the no matter who it is for the American, not going to be in a great spot, but definitely feels like out of all the years we've talked about how good is the American, how many teams from the American, this feels like the most one bid league out of all of the Americans we've talked about.
Just slipping further and further away every year. And look at last weekend where the Tigers went and played in that joke of a gym, and this weekend same thing at UTSA.
Yeah, well, it's I think the American is one of those conferences that unfortunately is taking a hit because of this day and age of college basketball, where I think there are good coaches in this conference. I think there are good players in this conference. But the unfortunate part about it is that, those players go out there and they start developing, and then, the offseason comes, and here comes bigger school that comes in and swoops in and offers them a deal, and they go to that school. And so the continuity and kind of looking around, I know Temple was one of those rosters where you look from last year to this year. I think Rice might have been in there as well. A lot of the rosters in the American fall into this, where so much turnover and so many different pieces, and these programs that for such a long time could get guys in and start developing them and really figure out that system. That's just not the case anymore, and so teams are really struggling with that, and you're seeing it all across. UTSA, the team Memphis will play this weekend. That's a team that has really, really struggled this year, and they clearly have not been able to figure anything out under their coach, who I believe is in his 2nd or 3rd season. Austin Claunch, who came over from Alabama as an assistant. They just haven't been able to figure it out. It's a shame, because I do think a lot of really good coaches and good players in this conference, but just no development, no continuity from year to year, and then it creates this type of conference.
Vandy undefeated no more.
Yeah, it kind of felt very similar to the night before with Iowa State. There was no way that these teams were going to remain undefeated all season long, and then when you get on the road and a tough environment against a tough team, it is hard to win those type of games. And so kind of played out the exact same way with Vanderbilt last night against Texas. And now Texas starting to put together a couple really nice wins. They had the win against Alabama last week, now a win over Vanderbilt. So yeah, one less no-loss team. Now we're just down to 3 with Nebraska, Arizona, who got a win last night, and then Miami, Ohio. So there were only 3.
Only 3, and a college basketball gambling scandal.
Yeah, no, that is, crazy to see some of the numbers and the quotes and the different things in some of those stories that have come out, and some of the things that the the FBI is releasing. A lot of teams involved with this, a lot more than we kind of had heard with the NCAA.
Everybody was holding their breath, checking
Oh,
the
yeah.
various names of
definitely.
teams and players.
No doubt
Everybody.
about it. No doubt about it. And
everybody's suspect.
no, they absolutely are. And obviously, looking through that list of teams and players, a lot of mid-major, low-major type of teams and players in there. And we've talked about it a lot with these things that have popped up. A lot easier to go to those programs and to those players and try to convince those guys to do something. And we're getting it all. 4 current players involved or were named in the list. Players from Kennesaw State, Delaware State, Eastern Michigan, and Texas Southern. Guys that have been playing all season long, and a couple guys in there, good players involved in this. A lot of teams
at different places now.
Yeah, well, and some at the same place. I think there was maybe the Texas Southern player. The Eastern Michigan guy at the same place. A couple of those other guys transferred. I think Delaware State's player was a guy that it was Delaware State not listed as a team, but he was listed with his involvement I forgot where he was last year when I was looking at it, but at a place that was involved the year before. North Carolina A&T, I think he was at the year before. But Tulane in there, and Kevin Cross, who was a really good player for Tulane, his name was listed in the players that were released today. So some American flavor in there. Not the first time the American has been involved with this. Temple was a team that had some eyes on them a year ago. So get the American in there with the gambling scandals.
Yeah, in college basketball has had this really just about every decade.
Yeah, no, it's out there, and I think I forgot who said this either on our show or a different show that I was listening to on this station, but kind of talking about the fact that it's unfortunate that this is rampant. It's unfortunate that kind of week after week we're getting this news about the different scandals, whether it's college sports, whether it's professional sports, but with legal gambling, it might have been Bruce Marshall who actually brought this up, with legal gambling and how legal it is now. And we talk about all the time, Vegas loves winning money. They don't like losing money. All of these watchdog agencies and different things out there that are monitoring these things so they can go out there and catch these things relatively fast. I do think is a really good thing that they've been able to catch this and try to put a wrap on it at least.
Brian, in all the years of college basketball betting scandal, this was the biggest yawn ever for me.
Really? Yeah. Why so?
Nothing at all new about it, just different names, different faces, and now different amounts of money. And with the widespread legalization, you had to see this coming.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I think it's a good point, especially with the fact that with how accessible it is now. I mean, I think we all have expected it, and because of just how many stories have popped up.
I would dare say, I got zero proof, but I would dare say with this story that broke, imagine the one they didn't catch.
Yeah, it's a good point. That is it's a really good point.
If you think this shut it all down and this was the only one,
yeah, no chance. But I think what jumped out to me the most and what hurt the most was seeing Antonio Blakeney's name involved as a major factor in this story. I love Antonio Blakeney. I mean, he was a fun player to watch in college. Had a brief cup of coffee in the NBA. But fun player, and then to see his name involved, and I was like, oh man, that hurts how I view Antonio Blakeney a little bit. So a massive story with college basketball, and obviously the current players will no longer be current players before too much longer.
You know how we yawn when it's an international tennis story? That's about how I treated this.
Interesting. Understandable, I think. I mean, it didn't jump out to me or shock me, really. And I think, like you said, we all expected something like this. And based on what the NCAA has looked into, what other people have looked into, you kind of knew there was stuff going on with these mid-major and low-major teams. And something like this was bound to break with a lot of teams involved and a lot of names involved as well. But last thing before we set up today's show, Grizzlies in action against the Orlando Magic right now, 98-89. The Magic in front. Really nice start for the Grizzlies. Jumped out to a 20-point lead, just knocking down shot after shot after shot, could not miss. And then late in the second quarter, going into half and into to start the second half, really, really cold. Orlando able to come back and take a lead, and now in control with about 7-8 minutes left in this game. Unless we get a comeback from the Grizzlies, it looks like Orlando will win the first leg of the European trip. So,
and then on to London, and then back to Memphis, and the fun will really begin.
Yeah, then we'll see what happens with this team and what the roster looks like moving forward. But a lot to get to this afternoon, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Pat Smith from Jocks in Birmingham. He'll join us, talk some college football. Plenty to get to with Pat. We'll talk about those semifinal games from last week. We'll also break down the championship game, talk some other news from the world of college football with a lot to talk about, including the stories going around of the quarterback down there in Alabama, Ty Simpson, turning down some big money offers to stay in college football to head to the NFL draft.
Everybody's winning the portal.
Oh,
have you noticed that?
Oh, Brad.
Every team.
Oh, dominating the portal. It's
killing in the portal.
Really.
Then I go to the portal rankings, and I see people getting killed in the portal.
That's right. But yeah, if you go to social media pages, different reporters, sometimes this team is just dominating the portal. Every single team. If you just spend a day going from team to team to team, you'd have 50 different teams that are number one in the portal and dominating.
And the last 2 years, nobody said Indiana was killing the portal.
Absolutely not. And you look up and down that roster, and they very, very seemingly did it the right way.
They killed the record book, didn't they?
They sure did. But you're not finding any 5 stars or 4 stars on that roster. So a lot to talk about with Pat Smith at 3:30. 3:45, talk more about the Tigers and their win last night over Temple. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spot Track and the front office show, who'll join us, talk the NBA. A lot to get to, including the Ja Morant news. What happens with him? When do we get an answer on Ja Morant? Last week when Keith joined us, it was all about Trae Young, and the question we asked him about, if the Grizzlies were to think about dealing Ja Morant, what would a deal look like? And then the very next day we get the Shams bomb talking about the Grizzlies open to offer. So a lot has changed since the last time we talked with Keith. We'll talk with him at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll get back to a little 4 downs. It's been a minute since we've done a 4 down segment, so we'll get back to it. I'll have the questions today, so 4 questions for Brett and Landon, all revolving around college football. And with the college football championship game coming up, these college football playoffs, plenty to talk about at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston. He'll join us to talk Tigers. Plenty to get to with Greg. He was on the call last night on ESPN Plus for that Tigers-Temple game, so we'll talk a lot about what he saw in that matchup last night, the win for the Tigers. Also, Tiger football. Greg's been telling us that he felt very confident that the Tigers had an opponent for the 2026 season. Today, they officially announced that 2026, Memphis will head to Las Vegas and take on UNLV, a Week 0 game, which will be a lot of fun.
That'll turn up the countdown enthusiasm, won't it?
It sure will. We'll all be a week earlier on the excitement meter with a Week 0 road game against Dan Mullen, Jackson Arnold, who just signed with UNLV, obviously a guy that we've talked about the last couple of years with his SEC ties. So should be a fun
load
game.
The box, make him throw.
That's right. Yeah, that's what it seems like watching these last couple of years. So a lot to get to with Greg Gaston at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending, and then at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The floor model and spa sales going on right now at Family Leisure. It's time to make room. Deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, and cold plunges. Been dreaming about that new spa? Now is the time to buy. Spas as low as $99 a month. Over $1,000 in free upgrades with every spa purchased. $8,000 spas, only $159 a month. Free LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Head out to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Landon Schmidt, we are Sportstime, and we're live and we're local, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. He's Brian, I'm Brett, and we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's our Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. We're always live and local from our Family Leisure studio, and this hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2026 models and always special leasing options. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at LexusOfMemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, the Tigers, they got a win, bounce-back win after losing from FAU over the weekend, a win at home against Temple, but it wasn't easy. 55-53, the final score, a game where the Tigers led by 13 points in the second half, up 13 with, with 12 and a half minutes left in the game. They kept it in double digits, a 10-point lead with 8:32, and after that, the Tigers could not buy a basket. Temple goes on a run. They make it a 2-point game. Tigers score a couple baskets, but ultimately it remained a 2-point game, and Temple had the ball with an opportunity to either tie or take the lead with 13 seconds left, and they are not able to make the shot. Tigers get the rebound, and they win the game. It was weird how it ended. They didn't blow a whistle on a foul. The clock expired. Everyone started celebrating, and then they go, no. We do have a foul with 0.5 seconds left. And they had to go up to the free throw line for a 1-and-1 before it was ultimately officially official that the Tigers won. But going into the game, Julius Thedford, Thierno Silla, both out with injuries, and then just about 10 or so minutes into the game, Aaron Bradshaw went down with an injury, a knee injury. They said no damage after the game, but he was on crutches and a boot walking around after the game, so not sure what it will look like, if he'll have to miss time, how long he'll have to miss, but a guy in the front court that the Tigers have relied on has played well over these last 2 games, but it was a Tiger win, a 2-point win, but a win nonetheless.
My top story, same thing. Tigers had to have it, and they got it barely, but they got it. It forestalled a mountain of criticism, but barely by 2 looks like by 20 when you need a win, that badly. Less than 3,700 in the building last night, but a needed win. Costly injury to Aaron Bradshaw. That depth, I don't know if it's depth or if it's just bodies, but it's getting shorter. Let's not turn him into Kevin Durant, but he is needed. The lineups and the rotations are still very shaky, and the playing of Ashton Hardaway, you can feel the murmuring in the building every time he goes to the scorer's table, and that's going to be a central theme the rest of the way.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, the Grizzlies in action right now in Berlin. A fun atmosphere over in Germany, which I knew the Wagner brothers both. I did not realize both from Berlin. I knew both from Germany, but I did not realize both from Berlin. I forgot that Tristan da Silva, a young player for the Magic, also from Germany, from Munich, and they have a couple other foreign players on their roster. So fun for them. It is very much a pro Magic fan base out there, obviously, with all of that German flair on the court. But the Grizzlies came out hot. They were knocking down threes, knocking down a lot of shots. Jaren Jackson Jr. was awesome in the first half, but down the stretch in that first half, after having a 20-point lead, Magic slowly started chipping away at it. They get the lead, and now in the second half have really controlled it. But just now, Grizzlies regaining the lead with about 4.5 minutes left. So feels like going to be a fun one down to the end of the game between the Grizzlies and the Magic. We'll keep you updated with what's going on in Berlin, and then they'll turn around. They'll head to London for an early game on Sunday before returning home, and then all the questions begin of what happens with this roster ahead of the trade deadline. But right now, we'll see if the Grizzlies can pull out a win against the Magic.
28 so far for Jaren Jackson, 13 for G.G. Jackson, who's in a lot of the trade conversations as well. My not top story, we wait on Ja. We wait on Jaren, see if they're in a deal. I think they both should be dealt and start completely over. I wish we'd have done it all last May. Everything should be completed at the end of this year. I say a new real NBA coach, a new real NBA front office, a new general manager. Everything that should have been done last May needs to be done this May. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear anything from this front office or marketing of if they start to float things like this of, well, you better start buying tickets or we might leave. No. Don't extort this crowd in this town, in this faithful fan core like this. Well, what you've put out there and what you've had in charge, lucky to have the fans you have.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm glad you brought up the coach because Tomas Islo was a 2-time Bundesliga Coach of the Year, so he's kind of going
right.
back.
That's where he needs to be.
Well, he's going back over to Germany where he had a lot of success. Maybe the success continues today for him. Back in a country he had a lot of success in. But another top and not top story of the day. Let's get to a break, and when we return, we're talking college football. Pat Smith from Jocks down in Birmingham. He joins us next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Come on and let the good times roll, y'all. Or as we say in Louisiana, laissez le bon temps rouler. The Orleans in the Ville with our made-from-scratch red beans, jambalaya, gumbo, po' boys, and made-fresh daily muffaladas right here in Collierville. Eat, drink, and stay for dessert like our homemade bread pudding with warm bourbon sauce. Monday through Friday, meat and two with homemade veggies, so good you'll bring your mom and them. Brunch every Saturday and Sunday. Right here, the Orleans in the Ville, 336 New Byhalia Road. Where great food, live music, and endless fun meet.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is turning up the stakes for every DraftKings customer with over $2.5 million in prizes up for grabs every Sunday during NFL playoffs. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use promo code HERD. Bet live for your share of $2.5 million in prizes with promo code HERD in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. No purchase necessary. 3 sweepstakes with separate opt-ins. Minimum odds minus 500. Prizes either bonus bets that expire in 7 days or single-use profit boost. See official rules at dkng.co/live millions for entry period and free method of entry. Sponsored by Crown Gaming, Inc.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good afternoon. T-Dot's working with a couple of minor problems out here so far, like some stolen vehicles down 240 over around Mill Branch. That was a little bit earlier. Now, it's decided to pick up a little bit more I-40 up by Chelsea here in the Midtown area as it gets heavier. I-40 around White Station. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Check them out this Valentine's season and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we got to talk some college football. But Brian, I know we're going to talk college football, and we're only going to talk college football. I can assure everybody of that. But Birmingham, also home of the Birmingham Stallions, they had the draft the other day. Do you know who the head coach of the Birmingham Stallions is now?
I do, A.J. McCarron.
That's right. He's about to start his first year as the head coach of the Birmingham
Stallions. And Tyler
Stallions.
Siskey, his offensive coordinator, I think.
Is that right?
I think.
Wow. Brett, I'll be honest, with no Memphis Showboats, I have not followed the UFL offseason as much as I probably should.
And A.J. McCarron gave up I think, probably going to get elected lieutenant governor to do it.
Wow.
Which shows you something. Being coach of the Stallions is more important than being lieutenant governor.
How committed he is to this Birmingham Stallions team. We got to talk college football. Pat Smith from Jocks down in Birmingham. Pat, thanks so much for joining us. Do we have Stallion fever yet down in Birmingham?
Oh, Stallions fever. We caught it a long time ago, and it hasn't gone away, guys.
Love it.
Oh, yeah. No, we're in good shape down here. Hate to see Skip Holtz go. Skip Holtz did an outstanding job with the team, but as you guys know, new ownership group for the UFL kind of want to shake things up a little bit, kind of go more towards home markets, kind of having a name that either played in that vicinity or is very familiar with the market. So A.J. McCarron's the new head man here in Birmingham.
He is it, and Tyler Siskey's helping him, right?
You are correct, offensive coordinator. Still not sure who the DC is going to be. We'll see what happens there, but Matt Corral is coming back as the Stallions quarterback. They had the quarterback draft a couple days ago, and former Ole Miss QB will be back in the Magic City quarterbacking the Stallions.
I saw Matt out at the Fiesta Bowl, and he looked to be in good shape, and he says he thinks he's finally well from that devastating foot injury in a preseason game before he ever really could get it started in Carolina.
Yeah, so listen, he did a really nice job, and the way Skip Holtz was able to have him. Birmingham, just like many other football teams across the land, whether it's college or pro, you go through many quarterbacks, especially when they get injured. And the Stallions last year, unfortunately, had a lot of quarterbacks that were injured and really couldn't ever get anybody upright for most of the season. But should be a lot of fun. It at least gives our audience something to kind of sink their teeth into football-wise in the spring.
And Pat, I had said earlier in our show today that everybody's winning in the portal. That's not true. There's one place that's admitting they're not winning in the portal, and shockingly, that's Alabama.
Well, it's one of those things that, especially after what happened with Hollywood Smothers, for your audience, if you're not familiar, he was the number one running back in the ACC. He ran for more yards last year, and if you watched Alabama football this year, it was a situation where Alabama put a high priority on the running back position. So they went out and they secured a commitment from the number one running back. He came to Tuscaloosa. He enrolled in classes, guys, but he did not sign any paperwork that he was going to, obviously, what he was going to be paid. And
Man,
so
I wonder what that first day in survey history was like.
Exactly. And so what happens is he leaves T-Town, and he's enrolled in school, but then Steve Sarkisian and Texas call him, and they say, hey, can you come to Austin for a visit? So he goes to Austin, and lo and behold, he signs paperwork, and he's a Texas Longhorn now. That really got the fan base really going, not because Texas signed him, but it was the fact that, Alabama in this new world of college football, in the history in the last 20 years, they haven't lost out of a lot of kids from a recruiting standpoint. And even in this short time in the transfer portal, Bama doesn't have a lot of losses. And that kind of really struck the fan base as, okay, what's going on? And then Alabama The defensive side of the ball, as you guys know, was one of the best in the SEC this year, kept them in the games when the offense couldn't run the ball. They started letting a lot of players leave. And so then that begged the question to the fan base, okay, now what's going on here? Like, you're letting go a lot of 4- and 5-star players. Matter of fact, Ohio State, they've signed 3 of them in this portal cycle. I think Ryan Day in Ohio State knows talent pretty well. And so that's got the fan base kind of anxious, kind of going, okay, what's going on here? We're not used to seeing Alabama, whether it's recruiting rankings or portal rankings, being ranked in the 30s. But that's kind of where we are right now, and they got a method to their madness, and maybe when the portal ends, we'll have a press conference, and they'll be able to kind of tell us what they've been doing.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about the transfer portal, decisions being made not only for the transfer portal but the NFL draft. And Ty Simpson, there's been reports out there that multiple schools offering him a lot of money to remain in college and be their starting quarterback next year, including Alabama, a couple of other schools as well. He's pretty set in stone. He's going to the NFL. What do you make of those stories and his decision to go to the NFL?
Well, it's interesting, guys, just to show you where we are in this world. So last year, he signed a deal with Alabama. He made $400,000 as the starting quarterback for Alabama. Now, with incentives, it got him up to $800,000. That's what he was making at Alabama last year. Jackson Arnold at Auburn was making $2 million a year as the starting quarterback. So the ROI in Tuscaloosa was a heck of a lot better than what Hugh Freeze was getting over it in Auburn. But back to your original question, there was never a question. I mean, listen, it's going to make anybody pause when you're offered $4 million and another SEC school, and then when Miami comes in at the last minute and says, hey, we'll give you $6.5 million, those are legit numbers. But I was told from the very get-go that for Ty Simpson, it was a situation like, look, I'm either going to go play in the NFL or I'm coming back to Alabama to be the quarterback. Like, I am a team captain. This is what I've worked hard. This is what I've strived for. He comes from, obviously, you guys know, his father, head coach at Tennessee Martin. He's got a great head on his shoulders. That was never going to be, the temptation of money was absolutely there. But at the end of the day, he said, you know what? I've dreamed about playing in the NFL. I dreamed about, obviously, being a quarterback in the SEC. I was a team captain, and I'm not going to mess that up. So that's why he declared for the NFL draft, signed his paperwork. And so now all these mock drafts that I've been seeing is a late first-round quarterback. And I think we all know, whether you're a draft geek or guru or not, next year's quarterback class, Brett, is going to be just outrageously good. And so for Ty Simpson, you look at the tea leaves of what's going to happen in 4 months at the NFL draft, and I think he made the right decision. He is going to be either a late first rounder, early second rounder, and listen, he's going to be able to make money, and with the kind of ability he has, I think he has an opportunity to be in the league in a while.
Doesn't he also have a little brother that's going to be on the Alabama team next year?
He has been I'm not sure if he has committed to Alabama, but yes, Alabama has been all about him in regards to trying to get another Simpson into Tuscaloosa. So that
it would have made it impossible for him to exist if Big Brother goes to wherever and plays and sells out and goes somewhere. It would have been impossible on the little brother to go there.
Yeah, no, and not to mention the fact that, and as we know, because you're great listeners in Memphis, the rivalry between Tennessee and Alabama, I mean, it's deep, it's long, it's tough for both sides in this rivalry. It's a great rivalry. And to think that the potential of an Alabama team captain with his hands in the cement around Denny Chimes and his footprints in Denny Chimes going in quarterbacking the Tennessee Volunteers on the third Saturday in October, that would have absolutely, caused all sorts of a ripple effect with that relationship with Alabama. So he's made a decision that he has absolutely put himself in high cotton with other Alabama fans in regards to, what his legacy is going to be long term.
Pat Smith, 2 years of college football playoffs at 12. 7 SEC teams have made it. The obvious one that's got to be in it next year that hadn't been in either of the last 2 years, it's LSU with Lane Kiffin. Is there anybody else that must get in for the first time next year other than LSU?
Oh, my.
Florida, maybe. Auburn, maybe.
I think they're going to be patient with Golish at Auburn. Basically, we're calling Auburn Tampa North now because basically the 24 kids they've gotten out of the transfer portal, I literally think about 18 of them are from South Florida. So it's making some people nervous because you guys are in the American Conference there in Memphis with the Tigers, and we're, of course, American down here in Birmingham for UAB. Mm-hmm. And, Golish didn't raise that American championship trophy any of the last few years. And so now you're basically bringing your whole team that couldn't win the American to now play in the Southeastern Conference. Not saying it can't work. James Madison, their players went to Indiana, and they're playing for a national championship on Monday. So you never say never. But I think they're going to be patient there. And I literally think that John Sumrall, what he's going to be able to do in Gainesville, Brett, I think the patience will be there as well. I think you're right. There is no patience in the Bayou. They paid him for one reason and one reason only, and they're forking out a lot of money in that transfer portal. A lot of mercenaries are coming down there. So if they don't get results quick, he may see the same fate of Brian Kelly in 3 years.
Yeah, no, he definitely could. And we're seeing that play out here with Ryan Silverfield going to Arkansas and taking a lot of
Tigers West.
Former Tigers. Yeah, it really is. So it's, it could work out, but hard to see some of those players having similar success in the big SEC. All right, well, we have the national championship set. It is Miami at home against Indiana. What do you make of this matchup, and what do you make of how both these teams got here with those semifinal wins?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been just unbelievably impressed with what Miami has been able to do. They've been able to take it to two SEC teams and be able to get to the point to where they are. Mario Cristobal has done an incredible job. The defense, as Brett saw firsthand about 20 feet away from where he was standing in the Fiesta Bowl, the defense is for real. Carson Beck, he's done enough, obviously, to not destroy his team offensively. Fletcher at running back has been outstanding. But, guys, I'm telling you, based on what I saw in the way they dismantled Alabama, not that this was an Alabama team that any of us thought was going to win the national championship. This is definitely not one of Nick Saban's Alabama teams, but just the way that they, in the trenches, just dominated the Tide and took care of business. You can't say enough about, Mendoza and what he has been able to do. I would be shocked, guys, if this game is under the number of 8.5 points. I think Indiana just does what they have been doing and what we used to talk about in Tuscaloosa as being joyless murder ball when Nick Saban was on the field. It appears that Indiana is doing their best to imitate what was done many, many years ago.
Yeah, it really does. And it's gotten to the point where I don't think you can pick against Indiana right now with the way they've been playing. You were talking about go ahead, Brett. No, go ahead.
If we replayed this, do you think A&M is just sick to death over only putting up 7 at home against Miami? When I watched that replay, I thought, golly, A&M, if you could have scored 4 more, we'd have dodged Miami. I wasn't worried about playing you.
It's really interesting because when the bracket came out, I'll never forget, my teammate at Jocks, Greg McElroy, he was sitting in the studio at ESPN there in Bristol, and the first thing he said, and I agreed with him 100%, when the bracket came out, he was blown away the fact that Texas A&M was going to have to play Miami because he thought that was going to be a very, very difficult game for A&M to get out of. And as he said that day, and it came to fruition, it really was. A&M is kicking themselves because based on the fact that kind of team that they had. But you can also throw out the fact with Texas A&M that I know they went to Notre Dame and got the big win. But outside of that, were they really tested throughout the season? And I know you could say the rivalry game at the end of the year, but if you looked at the strength of schedule from Texas A&M's standpoint inside the Southeastern Conference, it was not as strong as others. So then you just have to ask the question, when they got there to the big dance, were they really prepared? Because based on what you saw against Texas at the end of the season and against Miami in the CFP, you got to wonder. Listen, guys, to me, Oklahoma shouldn't have been in the college football playoff. They were fortunate because they snuck up and got 3 turnovers against Alabama and Tuscaloosa. That game got them in the CFP because, listen, I would have liked to have seen Vanderbilt in there over the Oklahoma Sooners, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Last thing for you, Pat, you were talking about the quarterbacks, Ty Simpson making the decision to go to the draft, talking about that quarterback class going into next year's draft. Dante Moore making the decision to return to Oregon after pretty much every mock draft had him as the number 2 pick to the Jets. What do you make of his decision to return to Eugene?
Well, listen, I'm as flummoxed as anybody else. And when you see his draft grade and what he potentially could be, and then he's going to be in competition next year with the people that he's going to be in competition with, you're hoping that he doesn't get injured. You hope he gets into the draft next year. He's fully capable of being one of those top picks. But it's going to be a very hectic draft class next year for quarterbacks. I'm really surprised. I know Ty Simpson and their family are probably a little bit happy now because who knows, Ty might end up jumping up in that first round a little bit higher than what mock drafts have him currently, but very surprised. And I'm even more surprised that Dylan Raiola, a 5-star quarterback, agreed to go to Oregon and basically hold a clipboard behind Moore and get paid money and then wait his turn for the next year. So it's just odd times, guys. The portal is just something that continues to give us radio guys great content, but it is absolutely mind-scratching sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. Well, Pat, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your
guys,
weekend.
Before I leave you,
please.
We're ready.
Before I leave you, when you talk about head scratchers, you know, when the Cardinals had Eli Marrero playing catcher and they moved him to first base, that was something that kind of let a lot of people go, what's going on there in St. Louis? So Eli Marrero is my former Cardinal of the day in this interview.
Thank you,
Pat. All right, I'll match you with another catcher, Glenn Brummer.
Glenn Brummer, how about that? Who stole home? How about that? You didn't think I remember that against the San Francisco Giants? Hey,
Eli Marrero and Glenn Brummer.
Hey, how about this fun fact? When he stole home, do you realize that the umpire on that play never called a ball or a strike? If it had been a strike, which it looked like it would have, the player would have struck out and the steal of home would not have been good.
Oh, that's great stuff, Pat. That is good.
How about that?
That is really good.
Yep.
Really good stuff. As
Love
always, Pat, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again next Thursday.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Pat. Pat Smith joining us like he does every single Thursday.
That's a Cardinal fan for you.
Oh, man. We love it. We love all those names that he throws at us every single week. Well, the Grizzlies, it was a loss, 118-111 against the Orlando Magic. Magic able to make more shots down the stretch. A really fun, tightly contested game between Orlando and Memphis. But we need to get to another break. And when we return, we're going to talk the Tigers. They got a win last night over Temple. We'll talk about it next on Sports Time.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used, they've got it. With fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters. 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family. Driven to keep you on the road.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
It was a 2-point win last night for the Grizzlies, 55-53, a game where the Tigers led by double digits with less than 10 minutes left in the second half. Temple went on a big run down the stretch. Tigers had issues knocking down shots, had an issue with turnovers late in that game, ultimately able to hang on for a 2-point win. Only 2 players in double figures for the Tigers. They get out-rebounded again by an Owls team. But at the end of the day, they get back to 500 with a win, now 8-8 on the season.
The Tigers win with Temple shooting 2 of 19 from the 3-point line. They make one more. Yeah, they win the game.
That's right. Gavin Griffiths, who was really good for Temple last night, he was 1 for 8 from 3. Very rarely are you going to see a guy go 1 for 8 from 3. Usually,
but only 11 Memphis turnovers. And right. Far as foul prone as the Tigers have been, I think you'll take 16 fouls.
Yeah, no, I think you'll take it. And then on the other side, you talk about turnovers. Temple, we talked about it yesterday, only 8.8 turnovers per game entering last night's matchup, and they turned the ball over 14 times. So you nearly double them on what they average for turnovers. But this is a Temple team. They shoot the ball this is a Memphis team that hasn't done a great job defending the 2 defensively, and a Temple team that has done a nice job on 2-point shots, and they got a lot of them to fall last night very clearly with the struggles from 3-point shooting. Now, we'll see with Aaron Bradshaw if he's able to go this weekend with Julius Thedford and Theron Osilla out last night. We could be looking at Saturday's game and maybe even going into next week with 3 guys on the bench with injuries. Sunday.
Sunday against UTSA, and then into next week on the road at Tulsa, which has been difficult before, and on the road next week at Wichita State, which has been difficult. Win over UTSA and get the 2-0 next week road trip, that would perk things up.
Yeah, I think anytime you start stacking wins like that, I think you gain some confidence both in the fan base and on the team, and I think this team really could use some confidence. You go out and start winning games. We always talk about winning cures a lot, and so I think it could cure a good amount of things with this Tiger team if they can start rattling off some wins.
And get over that 1 over 500 mark after get 1 over 500 after win over UTSA, and then 2 or 3 over after roadies at Tulsa and Wichita State. Around the rest of the league last night, I didn't see anything that really stood out other than UAB putting it on Tulane down in New Orleans.
Yeah, well, I was not able to peek in or really pay attention to any of the other games in the American last night. But yeah, this is a conference where I think any time any of these teams play against each other, it's probably a toss-up. With some of the results we've already seen, this
pretty fair fight, isn't it?
It feels like it, just based on what we've seen in conference play this year. But yeah, seeing UAB go on the road and win like that against Tulane was impressive.
It was undefeated before last night in conference.
That's right, yeah. And then Rice with a 89-73 win on the road against UTSA. Again, that's the UTSA team. They'll be in Memphis on Sunday.
They're winless.
Play the Tigers. Yeah, 0-5.
No, it's at Texas San Antonio, isn't it?
No, I think it's a home game for the Tigers, is it not?
I don't think so.
Let's see. Okay, I mean, wherever it is, it's a winless team at home or on the road, and should be a very winnable game for the Tigers against UTSA on Sunday. Let's see as I try to pull up the home game against UTSA.
Home game. I'm sorry.
5 o'clock Sunday evening on ESPNU. So an ESPNU game, getting away from ESPN Plus a little bit.
I'm sorry, Brian.
Nice. No, you're.
And I said earlier it was at their bad gym. It's not.
Don't apologize to me. It's tomato, right? Home or away, this should be a very winnable game for the Tigers on Sunday. And hey, we've talked about it. We mentioned it with the bracketology earlier. Right now with the American, they're just picking who that top team is. But the way the conference is set up, with that win last night over Temple, you get a win against UTSA. You go on the road next week and maybe get a pair of wins, then you feel pretty comfortable towards the top of that conference. And when we're talking about right now for the Tigers, the biggest objective is to be one of those top 2 seeds come conference tournament. You can make up a lot of ground here these next couple of weeks and put yourself in a good spot.
And with that, I think you're pulling for Wichita State down at FAU tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at that team in FAU that nicked you up. You want to try to have them also get nicked up and find a way to get in front of them and have them stay behind you. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be wild all season, I feel, looking at some of these results in the American, because like we said, I feel like any night, any team could really win any of these games.
3 straight for South Florida. I think they will emerge as a contending team.
Yeah, I think they should. This is a team that obviously bringing in Brian Hodgson from Arkansas State. He brought in a lot of new players and a team that had a lot of roster turnover, and so it felt like throughout non-conference play that they were really trying to figure some things out. And now getting into conference play, they have that one loss against UAB, a double overtime game against UAB at home. But since then, 3 straight wins. They've won all 3 of those games rather comfortably. And so, yeah, that's a team that I think keep an eye on. Both those games against the Tigers will be later in the season, February 19th at USF, and then Thursday, March 5th. Here in Memphis. So that'll definitely be a team to keep an eye on in the American. But we need to get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk the NBA. Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He joins us next.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Rooms got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every playoff moment feel bigger. DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code HERD. That's promo code HERD to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Hey everybody, nothing like getting into a new All-Star Chevy Silverado to start the new year in drive. Every new 2026 Chevy Silverado you could want is right here in Olive Branch. January deals that add up to thousands in savings and financing as low as 1.9. Cause hey, your good credit deserves it. Military and first responders, you get an extra $500 bonus. And if you've been looking for that new 2026 Traverse with a third row seat, they're here in Olive Branch. For the best selection of barely driven certified Chevys, All-Star is spot on. Suburbans, a nice Yukon, and so many Silverados. Come check out this huge selection of All-Star certified Chevys and the hottest pre-owned vehicles here in Olive Branch. And if you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Together, let's drive. Don't miss the Start the New Year in Drive event going on right now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of accidents in their cleanup stages now. It has increased with that volume. Some would say right on schedule. 240 east from Mill Branch out to 385 as you get on to Bill Morris Parkway going outbound. Expect that volume to increase quite a bit on out towards Collierville here in the next 15-20 minutes. Weimer's Jewelry is your full-service family-owned jewelry store. Be sure to stop by there this Valentine's season, and you'll save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour on this Thursday afternoon. We got to talk the NBA. A lot going on around the league. We've got the final score. If you missed it, Orlando 118, Memphis 111 in the game in Berlin. Right now, we got to talk the NBA, and we do it at this time every Thursday afternoon with Keith Smith.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us now to talk the NBA from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. Keith, thanks so much for joining us. Last week when we were talking with you, all of the talk around the league was about Trae Young and his trade to the Washington Wizards. This week, it's Ja Morant and a potential trade where he could land after last Friday. Shams Charania reporting that the Grizzlies are open to exploring options of moving Ja Morant. We asked you last week. We'll ask you again to start things off today. What does that market look like for Ja Morant, and who are some of the teams that you think are realistic options to make a trade for Ja Morant?
Yeah, I think it's somewhat limited. It's not a very wide market for point guards right now, and that's part of why Trae Young landed with the Wizards. There were a couple other teams that checked in on him, but the challenge is if you're a smaller point guard and you don't play great defense, it's going to be hard to build a team around those guys. And in the case of Ja Morant, he also has a pretty lengthy injury history, as well as he's not a good shooter. So it becomes even more difficult to build a team around him. Now, there are teams that are interested. We've heard Toronto, Sacramento, Miami is teams that have at least checked in to register some interest. So I think there's a good chance something gets done, because I feel like we've just things have run their course with Ja and the Grizzlies. We've gone over it before. They've been through a lot together, and eventually at some point everybody just kind of says, you know what's best for all parties involved? We just go our separate ways, and I think that's where we've kind of landed with this one.
Keith, do you think the trade market for Ja would have been better after last year's playoff exit last April, early May? Would there have been more that he would have brought back?
Potentially. It would have been one less injury impacted year on his ledger there, but I think,
a little
again, the
less
challenge
drama.
Yeah, exactly. I think the challenge is, though, as you look around the league, there's just not a lot of teams that need point guards. Either the really good teams have one, or the teams that are rebuilding, they've got a young option in place, and you're not really going to bring in Ja Morant to play over young guys. So what you're looking at is, if you're a team that is interested, why would Toronto be interested? Yeah, he's a better player than Emmanuel Quickly if he is healthy and engaged and ready to go. So that's why they're looking at it. If you could get the Ja Morant from a couple years ago that was, pushing all NBA status and we all loved him and everything, and if he can recapture that magic, he lifts you to a different level. You go from being a nice team that's, in the middle of the conference to a team that could be, in contention for home court advantage or more. But that's what you're going to find, is a team that's really willing to do that and take that chance, because whoever is taking a chance because he's owed a lot of money, not just this year, but for the next couple of seasons as well.
Yeah, no, you absolutely do. So how fast do you think we see this happening? Is this something that, I know we talked about it last week. We're only, 3.5, a little less than 3.5 weeks away from the trade deadline. Is this something where I know a lot of people here in Memphis have been thinking that maybe with Ja Morant missing the game in Berlin with the injury, that might mean, because he was close and everyone's saying that they were hopeful he would play, that might mean there's the framework of something being worked out and that we could see it in the next couple of days once they get back. Do you think this is something where we get real news of a move, in a week, or do you think this is much closer to the trade deadline?
Yeah, first, let me make it real easy for you. It's 3 weeks from today.
Holy cow.
To the trade deadline, because it's Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks from now when we're chatting, we'll be talking about what did or didn't happen at the deadline. As far as timing for Ja Morant, I don't think they're going to trade him while they're halfway around the world. That would seem to be a little odd. I don't think things have gotten quite to the level where it's get this guy out of here on a separate plane from everybody else. I don't think we're in that kind of world. So I think this is probably one where they get back here stateside and they probably get to work on trying to get this done. I don't know that it takes all the way to the trade deadline, because it is, I think, becoming increasingly clear that both sides are just kind of done with this. And it doesn't seem like either side is overly happy to continue this. And when we get to that point, that usually means we are close to something kind of giving and it being time for, something to move. And I always say most things happen trade deadline week because teams want to wait. Nobody wants to make a deal and then find out 2 days later, oh man, we could have done that. So that's why they wait till closer to the deadline. But when you have a situation where both sides seem to be unhappy, sometimes we do see things go a little bit earlier, as we saw with Trae Young.
Keith, is there a team out there that Ja can really help, not just for the future, but for the balance of this year, and maybe push them over the top to winning it, or is he just a piece?
To winning the title, to go that far, I don't think so. But if you're again, Toronto, if he comes in there and can help lift them to being better, they could definitely be a team that's going from kind of fighting for a spot in the playoffs to being a team that's in the mix for maybe the back end of home court advantage, or maybe they win a round in the playoffs. If it's Sacramento, I don't know that prime Michael Jordan is helping the Kings do anything this year. That's not going anywhere. And then Miami, that's a little bit of a weird spot. That one is just an odd situation anyway, because the offense that Ja Morant reportedly hated so much in Memphis that they changed it and moved away from it is exactly what the Heat are running now. So that's just kind of an odd fit. But I think, if they believe, hey, we'll take the talent, we'll get him to work, and if it means working in a few more pick and rolls, if we believe in Ja Morant's talent and can get back to the level he was at, we'll work in a few more pick and rolls. But those seem to be the teams that are kind of hottest on him, and then anybody else is probably a pretty big stretch to think he's going to lift them into title contention.
From the halcyon days of 2022 playoffs, May of 2022, defeating Minnesota and everybody thinking, in a few years, maybe not win it all, but, a chance to really to win the West and go to the NBA Finals. How shocked are you, Keith, that Memphis is at this point of despair? I said it was the lowest point in franchise history.
Oh, geez. It might be. You would know better than I would. I'm not surprised because we were talking about essentially 4 seasons ago. And 4 seasons in the NBA is a lifetime. Contracts don't really run more than 4 or 5 seasons for most guys. So they tried. And I think anybody who suggests that the Grizzlies didn't give it a real try, is a little bit off. Now, I've been critical in the past that I thought in years when they were close, they were a little too precious with a handful of their own guys that they drafted because they have this really good track record of drafting and developing players. But when they hung on to guys, they've hung on to them until their trade value just isn't quite there. Now, that's John Morant's in a different situation, and that's why it does surprise me because if you go back to the connection he clearly has with the city and the fans and how much, that group seemed like they were ready to go. They were out there talking trash to LeBron James and Stephen Curry and anybody who would listen, and they were backing it up, which is what mattered. That it's all kind of falling apart like this, it really is, kind of tough to see.
Yeah. Another thing on Ja Morant before we get to any of the other news in the NBA, what do you think the return will look like for the Grizzlies? Because the initial reports from Shams was that the Grizzlies are prioritizing young players and draft capital, but I've heard a lot of people, especially national media, talking about they don't think any team is going to be willing to give up much draft capital or young players in the trade for Ja Morant. So what do you think a realistic return will look like for Memphis?
Yeah, I don't think you're getting prime young players and prime draft capital. I think what you're getting back is younger guys who maybe need a change of scenery, guys who have maybe kind of washed out where they were, and it's time to get them somewhere different and see what it looks like. And then draft capital, you're probably getting picks that are looking a little later. Anybody who's dreaming of, all right, we're going to get 4 first-round picks, 3 swaps, and this young guy, it's just not going to happen. One, teams aren't really looking to do those kind of trades. Now, everybody with the second aprons and all the like are really being cautious with their picks, more so than I can really ever remember. And when you see trade like that, it's going to be, this is the final piece to put us over the top and get us there. And that's just not coming. So I think it's probably going to look similar to what happened with Trae Young, matching salary, interesting players. Maybe they can kind of help the rest of this year. Maybe they can help over the next couple of years. But I don't know that it's going to be anything where everybody's going to be jumping up and down and celebrating it because the injury history, the production, the drama, and the contract, it just doesn't add up to one of those monster returns.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. A lot of people have been talking now, and you're also seeing some national people start floating it out there, the idea that once Ja Morant is moved, that the Grizzlies could look to move Jaren Jackson maybe even before the trade deadline. I know Shams and his tweets on Friday said that they would like to build around Jaren Jackson, but do you think, or could you see the Grizzlies moving Jaren Jackson Jr. as well before the trade deadline?
They certainly could, and one of the benefits is he's a little bit easier to trade right now because he's on a $35 million contract under the deal he did where he renegotiated and extended. He's at $49 million next year. That's a big jump, and for a lot of teams, like one of the teams that he was linked to in recent reporting was the Boston Celtics. And the challenge there is for the Celtics, now you're talking about having 3 guys who make $50 million on your roster, and that's, essentially 3 guys took you right to the salary cap. And that's tough unless you're certain, like, those 3 guys with what we have will be super expensive, we're going to win the title. That can be hard to sell and get past. So I think it's possible, but I think it's more likely if they're given the indication, hey, we are not trying to tear this thing down. We're trying to continue a process that was really started this past summer when they moved on from Desmond Bane of we're trying to reset our books, and we believe Jaren Jackson Jr. can be a big part of where we're going next with Cedric Howard and some other guys. I could see him sticking. I don't know who's going to give them enough of an overwhelming package for them to feel good about moving Triple J.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on, but I think you're right. I would be a little surprised if they do move him before the trade deadline. Talking to Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He joins us every Thursday to talk the NBA. Speaking of trades, I believe today is the first day Jonathan Kuminga is eligible to be traded from the Golden State Warriors, and he made the most of it by this morning demanding a trade from Golden State. The last couple of years with him and Golden State have been very weird. Him and Steve Kerr, their relationship has been very strange. What do you make of this news, and where do you see the trade market moving with Jonathan Kuminga?
Yeah, this is maybe the most unnecessary trade demand I think I've ever heard of before. Do you remember a few years back when T.J. McCollum was told by a fan, hey, win a playoff game, and he was like, I'm trying, Jennifer? I feel like Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s response was, I'm trying, Jonathan. Like, it's just, again, there's not a huge trade market. The Warriors, by their own doing, have really, botched this entire situation. They've made it a real mess with Jonathan Kuminga. He was a player, he's only 23. And a couple years ago, everybody's like, all right, this guy can score, doesn't do a ton else, but at least he can score, and he's going to be a high-level scorer. Now we're at a spot where the questions are kind of like, is even a good NBA rotation player on a good team? And I think his best landing spot's got to be with a young team that's rebuilding, that can give him minutes, allow him to rebuild his confidence, get himself back into a good headspace and be ready to go. And for the Warriors, that team may not be ready to deliver something that can help them on the court now and for the next couple of years. So this one's going to be tough. I don't know that this resolves. I think everybody is hopeful this will go because, we're now a year into this discussion on should the Warriors trade Jonathan Kuminga, and after a very long summer of protracted negotiations and the like, it's hopeful somebody gets something done here to move him. But yeah, it's a real mess there with Kuminga and the Warriors.
At deadline time, who do you think will be the busiest, the Knicks or the Celtics?
Out of the two of them, I would say probably Boston, only because it's a little easier for them to move. The Knicks are very tight to their second apron hard cap, and quite frankly, the Knicks don't need a whole lot. I think they're looking for one more guy that they can put there. They're reportedly looking for another guard to be out there with guys like Brunson and McBride and Shamet, who they haven't been able to trust that he'll stay healthy, and Tyler Kolek, who's had injuries. They would like to add one more guy to that mix. So we'll see where that kind of goes with them. And they put Gershon Yabusele, who hasn't worked out at all as an off-season signing, on the market to try to get that help. But that's kind of all they have to offer. They don't have draft capital. Everybody else is a key rotation guy that has a meaningful size salary. So I think because the Celtics have Anthony Simon's big expiring contract, no sense that they're going to even try to move him. I'm not even sure that's where this is going to go. But they can do that. They've got some tradable draft picks. Got a couple other guys that they can put in trades. I think they'll be a little more active, but I don't know that either team is coming away making any kind of blockbuster.
Keith, the Clippers are playing really well right now, 8-2 in their last 10, 4 straight wins. I know there was a quote after the last game where James Harden was talking about how he's confident the Clippers can find their way back into playoff contention. What do you make of what you're seeing with this Clippers team right now, and how have they been playing so well over these last 10 games?
Yeah, you hit my kryptonite because I just can't quit this stupid team. Every year I think they're going to be really good, and every year they're not. And
I love the
I'm
coach.
the one who ends up looking, I'm Charlie Brown with the football here. And they're Lucy. It's like every year I'm like ready to buy in. That said, I'm going to buy in to an extent. Like, yeah, they may be a play-in tournament team. Maybe they end up winning their way through, but they'd have to really push even harder than they have if they want to get out of the play-in tournament. They're 4.5 games behind the Warriors. The Warriors haven't been great, but I don't think they're going anywhere. And then if they wanted even to try to catch the Suns, that's 7 games difference behind the Suns. That's a big difference. Now, they're even up with the Grizzlies. They're right behind the Trailblazers. They could definitely pass those teams, but then you're winning 2 games in the play-in tournament to play the Thunder in the first round. They're not going to have a chance against OKC. So I'll buy in to an extent, they're playing a lot better, but I'm still not bought in that they're any kind of great team.
No, yeah, I'm with you there. We were talking about the Grizzlies. They are in Berlin. They'll go to London for the game on Sunday. And while the NBA is in Europe, some European basketball and NBA drama taking place, as I believe it was Friday. The EuroLeague came out and said that they could take legal action against the NBA if they continue to try to sway teams to their new league. And then today, some rumors out there that Real Madrid is very willing to make the jump to this new NBA league. What do you make of this little issue between the EuroLeague and this new NBA league that Adam Silver is trying to start up in Europe?
Yeah, this tells me that the EuroLeague is afraid of NBA Europe, and it's not the official name. That's just what I'm calling it because it makes it very easy to distinguish between the two. But that tells me that they're scared that the NBA is going to come and they're going to really do something. And quite frankly, they should be. European basketball has gotten a lot better over the last, let's call it decade and a half, 2 decades, as far as it's a lot more stable than it was. But these teams, there's still a sense of instability with some of these teams, and there's still a sense, especially in EuroLeague, where some of the teams just aren't real happy with the way EuroLeague goes. There are teams that feel like it prioritizes certain teams and certain countries and that over others, and it's been messy over the years. And the NBA's idea is, hey, we want to come in and we want to, we're going to have it's something around 12, 16 teams. And we're going to have half of them be established, and the other half are going to be new teams, and they'll come in, and we'll get this thing off and running. So this gives me a sense that EuroLeague is they feel threatened here. That if you're threatening legal action before anything's even happening, it's usually a sign of you're a little bit scared.
Keith, under the kind of the banner of all championships are appreciated, but championship runs that you really didn't see coming, they're a lot more fun. Boston, you've had it all as a Celtic fan and as a franchise, but did you see this good of this year coming?
No, not at all. I didn't think they'd be bad, and I knew they weren't going to tank. And a lot of people were throwing it out there, gap year, tank, and get a great draft pick, and get back at it next year. But there's too many guys on that team. Unless they had started trading guys or there was a rash of further injuries, they just weren't going to tank. It's just not in the makeup of, from Brad Stevens to Joe Mazzulla to the players on the floor. These are guys who have played for titles, and they love the idea of, all right, count us out, we're going to get after it. That said, I thought they'd be somewhere in the middle of the pack in the East, and in the play-in tournament or just outside of it and getting in. I did not think they'd be fighting for the second seed in the conference. But what they do night after night, they play really hard. And if you show up in the NBA every single night and play really hard, you have an advantage over a lot of other teams. It's kind of sad, but some teams just don't show up and play hard. Sometimes you get them on a back-to-back, or they traveled in and travel was delayed. They got in at 2 a.m. and had to play that evening and everything else, and it can be really hard. But with these guys, I mean, they just get out there, they get after it. You get a lot of cast-offs from other teams, guys who other teams basically said, you're not good enough and we don't want you. And that's, been a big part of, the makeup. And then Joe Mazzulla has proven to be a heck of a coach. I mean, he is really, really good, at what he does and adjusting. And he's pulled the right levers all season long, whether it's inserting guys into games or pulling guys out of the rotation, putting other guys in. It's been a really fun season for the Celtics, and a lot more to come, because they very much, all the buzz is Jason Tatum's going to play at some point this season, and we'll see what their trade deadline tells us about. All right, if they make a big move, that's them saying, yeah, we think we got Jason Tatum coming back, and we're ready to really make a run at this thing.
And Brad Stevens sets that music for the franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's from the top on down. Ownership has been pretty good about saying, hey, boy, don't worry about it. We're going to pay, and we're here. And yeah, Brad Stevens, I think, too. I think his just kind of like, we go to work attitude of, it's been that way since he was at Butler to when he was the Celtics coach to the front office. It's about us. It's about the guys here in this room and us going to work and us doing our thing. All the rest of it is going to be what it is, but just do our thing. Be the best version of ourselves.
Can you clone him and send him to Memphis?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I've had a handful of people say, hey, you think, how much would they have to offer him to come back and coach? But I think right now he's very happy doing what he does. I do think he will coach again at some point because I truly believe that he is a coach at heart, but it's not going to be anytime soon. And one thing I can certainly tell you, it's not going to be on the college level anytime soon.
Okay, because that's the first time you've even closely modified that, and let the record show I haven't asked that college question in years of you.
That's right.
It's not going to be at the college level. I mean, it's been made pretty clear that and I think a lot of college coaches are, quite frankly, they don't love the way things are going in college. It's more of a professional type style. But nowadays that 10, 15 years from now that Brad Stevens steps in, but right now he's doing a good job. He gets to be at home with his family a lot more, and I think that means a lot to him.
He's doing a really nice job. Last thing for you, Keith, before we let you go, we had a listener text in and was curious your thoughts. Obviously, we talked about Ja and Jaren as potential trade pieces for the Grizzlies. Who else on this Grizzlies roster do you think could be moved before the trade deadline?
Sure, yeah, I would take the young guys completely off the board. Right, they're not going to move Coward or anybody like that. But I think you see the team was like, what we really need is a 3-and-D guard, and they want Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Sure, I think that could be a thing that happens. I think they could get calls on a guy like Brandon Clark if he could get healthy. The challenge is he's not going to be back until after the trade deadline, it looks like, or maybe right around the trade deadline. So that's going to be a little bit of an issue. But yeah, I mean, and then everybody else, the problem there is none of the salaries are really big enough for that to be more than, hey, they were put into a deal versus being kind of the centerpiece of the deal. Or for the Grizzlies side, they're really good contracts, and that's what Memphis wants to have moving forward.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Well, it feels like it's going to be a very eventful next couple of weeks. Keith, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next Thursday.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Keith. Keith Smith joining us every single week to talk the NBA. And yeah, feels like hard to believe. Let me start off by saying hard to believe we're only 3 weeks away from the trade deadline.
True.
But feels like it's going to be a very busy next couple of weeks around the entire league, but certainly here in Memphis for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, it feels like Ja will be early.
Yeah, I mean, it feels
earlier.
Yeah, it feels like once they get back from Europe, sometime into next week, we could probably be seeing some moves happen. Only 2 games next week when we
visit with Keith next week. Will Ja be a member of the Grizzlies?
Oof, that is a really good question.
That's a question that I don't know the answer to.
I don't either. But I mean, I think that's next week looks like a really good week. You get back and no games Monday, Tuesday. A game Wednesday against Atlanta, off Thursday, home against New Orleans on Friday, off Saturday, and then the following week, that's Sunday through Saturday, 5 games that next week. So it feels like a lot of off time to maybe get deals done and do things like that the week that the Grizzlies get back from Europe. So maybe we see something. Who knows? But let's get to another break, and when we return, we got to do a 4 down segment. It's been a minute since we've gotten to 4 downs. I'll have the questions today. Brett and Landon will be answering them. We'll do that next on Sportstime.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
The 2025 Range Rover Sport sits right at the heart of the Land Rover lineup, offering a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility. Smaller and more agile than a full-size Range Rover, it's a great option for everyone who wants luxury and practicality. Every model comes with 8-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive standard. Whether you navigate city streets or tackle rough terrain, Range Rover Sport has you covered. Every drive is powerful and breathtaking. The 2025 Range Rover Sport is the epitome of sporting luxury. Test drive one at Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. Let me ask you something. Are you seeing unsightly water spots on your ceiling, in your home, your office, or even worse, mold? Have you noticed shingles missing, pieces in your yard, or signs your roof just doesn't look right anymore? Here's the facts. What you see inside usually means there's already a bigger problem above you. At Metro Builders, we don't just guess, we inspect. Our team performs a full roof inspection right on site. We take detailed photos, document everything, and show you exactly what's happening with your roof. Whether it's a simple repair or a full replacement, don't let anyone tell you it needs to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. We offer free inspections, on-the-spot estimates, clear explanations, and yes, financing is available. Before a small issue turns into major damage, make the phone call that protects your home. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. Or check us out online at metrobuildersmemphis.com. Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. We don't just build, we build world class.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Steady flow of traffic pushing south of Memphis right now, right on schedule at volume. Down through South Haven on 55 all the way down into DeSoto County. No shortage of radar in the last hour, at least it was that way a few minutes ago there on I-40 as you pass 269 on out towards Fayette County as that traffic volume builds out in that area right now. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, your full-service, family-owned jewelry store. Stop by this Valentine's season and shop local. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, back in Sports Time, Bryant and Brett with you, and we gotta talk some college football national championship game on Monday, so it feels like a perfect time for a 4-down segment. I'll have the questions today, Brett, and Landon will be answering them, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get to 4 downs. All right, let's start with a question revolving around the national championship game. We've got Indiana, we've got Miami. We've spent a lot of time talking about Indiana and this wild run that they've been on over these last
Well, we
few
made
seasons.
up for lost time talking.
That's right, and that's exactly right. All the time we weren't talking about Indiana over these years, they got it. So let's focus on the other team, Miami, the U. We always talk about, is the U back? So I ask this: is this the start of something at Miami? This new great era of Miami football, or is this just a flash in the pan for the U?
Landon, you first.
All right, I'll go first. I think right now they are definitely back. As far as continued success, it'll fully depend on who they land at quarterback, because Miami has been on this incredible run of getting quarterbacks. Cam Ward, now Carson Beck. So now who's going to take up that mantle for next year? I mean, Mario Cristobal's still going to be there. He's done an incredible job with this team. So as far as if they're going to continue to be back, I think depends on who leads the team next year. But as of right now, making it to the national championship, not a shadow of a doubt, this team is back.
Bryant, that was just a great question. And Landon, that answer, I mean, touch them all.
Yeah.
If that was at Wrigley, that's way into the houses behind
right.
the townhouses behind it. the operative word around college football for a lot of teams is it sustainability.
Yep.
Well, every year is that for people, because for Miami, starting at quarterback, and they were very much in the Ty Simpson sweepstakes. I thought for a day or two there that they had him. Well, they're right back.
Yep.
The word back. You got to be back at quarterback.
You got to be.
And if they stay with a real superstar quarterback, they will always be there because they can rely on the portal for just pick and plug.
Yep.
They don't have to go wholesale. They can just get a quarterback, just get a cover safety, get a big time wideout, because that high school recruiting area down there is so fertile, and with this run, it will help to build it. I do think they are back. Now, if Monday night was a blowout, they will get needled and picked at. But I do think they're back, and I think Mario Cristobal is the engineer of it, and that they've always been serious about supporting the team in good times.
Yeah, no, they absolutely have. All right, well, let's stick with Miami. Second down, talking about the quarterback. Y'all both just mentioned the word quarterback in there. Carson Beck, he'll be the starting quarterback Monday night in that national championship game. How will we look back at Carson Beck and remember his collegiate career? How will we remember Carson Beck as a college quarterback in 5, 10, 15 years? And a follow this, like the trick play on a second down. How do you view him as an NFL prospect?
Second down first. I think he is a capable backup that might get in there and the light really comes on and might get in there and really get exposed. Ken Dorsey was with a Galaxy of Stars a long time ago at Miami, but wasn't a very good college quarterback. Cam Ward, just 1 year at Miami like Carson Beck, I think is going to be a superstar. Nobody thinks he's as gifted. I think the final thing, win or lose Monday night, is going to be Carson Beck, bloodied, battered, criticized, but you wouldn't have mind having him on your team.
No.
Made a lot of winning plays for Georgia and for Miami this year, and always bounced up, and really took some hits, but kept on getting up.
Yeah, no, he absolutely did. Landon?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, because I feel like outside of the first couple of weeks this year for Miami, Carson Beck kind of just flew under the radar. It's almost as if we didn't really know that he was the quarterback for Miami.
That was the good times.
And that was when Miami was just kind of coasting, doing their thing. But opening up the year against Notre Dame and then following it up with Texas A&M, I mean, you knew Carson Beck was out there. Then, of course, he had that game against SMU where you're like, all right, this is what he did.
We wrote him off.
Yeah,
we laughed about it.
This is what he did at Georgia. He had multiple games with 3 interceptions. He's reverting back to who he is. So now he's turned around in this college football playoffs, getting that seed, and has really taken this team and has done a good job managing this offense. We've said it multiple times going throughout week after week. If he just takes care of the ball and does his job, the team's going to do the rest. So I agree with you, Brett. I think when he comes to the NFL, as far as a prospect there, he will be a good backup. I could see him probably fitting into the role of like a Marcus Mariota, where he's there for a team for a long time, and he's that surefire guy that you can go to when your top guy's down, and he can probably lead you to a few good drives, keep you in the game, but I can't see his ceiling going much higher than that. But as far as college football, man, I think resilient would probably be the word.
Yeah.
After overtime at Highland Park, we all thought, well, that
was it.
We're done with the U for another year.
Yep. And now here they are. Really, really hard to believe. Okay, let's get away from Miami, but let's continue to talk about the playoffs for third down. All the conversation about what the next playoff model will look like. We've been talking a lot this week about 24. So here's the question. Do we go straight to 24, or do we do 16 before we go to 24, Landon?
I mean, this one is tricky because we're both waiting on the Big Ten and the SEC to really give their response. Big Ten seems to be favoring more of the 24. SEC wouldn't mind going to the 16, so it's kind of a battle here. I think the most sensible direction to go would be to go 16, and then I feel eventually, I don't know how far down the road, it's not crazy to imagine we will get a 24-team playoff, but as far as jumping straight to it, I don't know if that's in the cards right now. Let's just say I don't think it would be a smart move for us right now. So my answer, I would say we would hit 16. I'm not even entirely sure if we hit 16 next year, but definitely in the next coming couple of years, probably 16 first.
Have your Heather Dinich alerts on Saturday and Sunday, because I don't think they want anything Monday. They don't want anything to take any of the shine off of Monday night's game. It would be wholly unfair to Indiana and Miami to have gotten to that point and kind of the next thing. And we do that. I do that too often in college football. We're always kind of on to the next thing or the next year, and we're not talking about and enjoying the right now, the here and now, and this year nearly as much. And I begged Ole Miss people, I begged them down the stretch of the year, as much as you can, block out the lame stuff and enjoy this. I think it will come along again soon, but what if it doesn't? And you spent the whole time torn up over that. All that said, we didn't think it was going to go from 4 to 12. We thought it would be incremental, 6, 8, and then boom, we got the more rather than less. I think it will be the less. I think I want the more. Wow. I think I want Greg Sankey at some point this weekend go, all right, Tony, you've played hardball with me. Nothing can get done unless we're in complete agreement. I'm going to take you 24, but it's going to be 24 at larges.
Yeah.
No AQ, no play-in, none of this stuff. I'll take you 24. We'll play football till the 1st of March if you want to, Tony. But it's going to be the best play.
Wow, yeah, that would be would be something if we got something like that. Not only a 2014 model, but just a hey, who are the best 24 teams? Let's throw them in a bracket.
And Brian, wouldn't that really end even for the non-power? Well, what about our spot? If you're not in a top 24, are you a playoff team?
No. Top 20 or number 25 is going to complain.
That's right. Yes. The 25th team is always going to complain.
So then,
didn't we take number 69 out of complaining though in the NCAA tournament?
No, you did.
Would 25 have much of an argument?
No, but I think Landon's point is they'll still argue. I mean, you're not going to make everybody happy, and we always talk about that. No matter what sport it is, that last team that gets left out is going to complain. But yeah, you're right in terms of the hey, we deserve a spot. We have a better resume. When you go to 24 teams, I don't think there's anybody that has a realistic argument about we should be in rather than somebody else.
But when we go to 24, if and when we go to 24, between Kurt Signetti and 24, it's going to be coaches fired after 2 or 3 years right and left.
No, they absolutely are. I mean, it is you're going to have zero leash on a long life if you're not making it to the playoffs. We're taking the 24 at large.
Arguably, could Charles Huff take 3 years of not in a 24-teamer?
Yeah, I don't. That's a great question.
No,
he sure couldn't if there's not some spot for non-power.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
for Group of 5.
Yeah, no, it'll be. I mean, we'll be talking about coaches and how long they should be at different schools and the different levels of it. I mean, it'll be a completely different conversation to what we're having right now.
In the SEC, for the historic, really bigger name, there's not a
I think we're having issues with Brett in his connection, so Landon, I will let you try to figure out what's going on with the connection over there with Brett, because I think we lost him there. So Landon, if you could figure that out with Brett,
certainly,
and then hopefully we can get to my fourth down question. But it is interesting because I think the way that the Big Ten at least keeps proposing it. It's all of these AQs and different things out there of having spots protected for his guys, for the Big Ten as a conference, and then having to kind of throw the bone out there for these other conferences. I think we talked about it the other day of just all the sweeping changes in college football, not only just of expanding the playoff straight to 24 teams and kind of what that means for conference championship games and bowl games as a whole and all these different things. I think I would like to see it go from 16 to and stay at 16 for a couple of years and maybe figure out how all of it looks and then go to 24. But I don't hate the idea of just 24 straight at-larges and just kind of roll it out and see how it looks there. I don't mind that at all.
Kind of a response question to that is, would the NCAA, would college football then change their seeding to just be the top 24 teams in college football and get rid of that 25 spot?
Yeah, I mean, it might.
That would solve the problem of 25 complaining.
Yeah, it definitely.
Let me jump in. What was it?
We were continuing to talk about the 24 versus 16 and
Gotcha.
kind of how it is there. Let's get to the last question because we're running out of time here. Fourth down. There are 5 new head coaches to the SEC this year. So 5 new coaches to the SEC this year. Which of them has the best first season? So you're talking about new head coaches in the SEC. Alex Golesh at Auburn, Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas, John Summerall at Florida, Will Stein at Kentucky, Pete Golding at Ole Miss. Who has the best first season in the SEC as a head coach?
Pete Golding.
Okay, yeah.
Seconded.
All right, yeah.
It's all built.
Yeah, it sure is.
I mean, already his resume is fantastic.
Fine. Y'all want to play the easy game? Take him out. After that, who has the easiest
John
job?
Summerall.
All right,
That's exactly where I was going. That's exactly where I was going as well.
Yeah.
Shockingly, my third, Stein at Kentucky.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting hire there for Kentucky.
Kentucky and Stein, my 2-year bet of if anybody can do it in the SEC, pull the Indiana, Kentucky does it. It's kind of the model. Basketball first, not a lot of success, but more than Indiana had.
Yeah. No, I think y'all aced that. It's definitely Pete Golding and there's John Summerall, and I love that wild card that you threw in there with Will Stein. So I thought I was going to throw out a difficult question there.
Honestly and sadly, last I think is Ryan Silverfield in Arkansas.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to turn that around.
Not impossible.
Yeah, it's not impossible, but certainly going to be difficult.
I was looking at the Razorback schedule today and going, when could be that first big breakthrough win that they wrap their arms around it, because there are a lot of fans that don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
They really don't.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends don't have they didn't even know he was at Memphis. They really didn't.
Wow.
And I saw Tennessee October 10th. Well, if he did that and they wrapped his arms around him, that's when Tennessee's pushing Josh Heupel away.
Sure. Is that a home game or an away game?
In Fayetteville.
Okay, yeah. So maybe a really good opportunity there for Ryan Silverfield. All right, well, that's 4 downs. I thought for really good answers. I don't know about how good
Brian.
the questions were, but I
Really
think
good.
the answers were really good. Thank you, Brett. But let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Maria's Cantina in South Haven is not your average Tex-Mex joint because they're serving up Mexican with a twist. Maria's Scratch Kitchen is the most creative and diverse menu around. Beyond the traditional huge quesadillas, chimichangas, and fajitas, Maria serves up hand-rolled Latin egg rolls, Cajun and Creole items like catfish, gumbo, and boudin balls, as well as the best sandwiches and 8-ounce burgers in town. Wash it all down with a house margarita for only $5.50 and happy hour every day till 6. MariasCantina.com, 6717 Airways, Mexican with a twist. NST's been taking down insurance giants for over 35 years. Big firm power with hometown heart? Yeah, they don't play. It's that combination that has helped them win billions for their clients. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers, Ford, and Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
When you hear the sound coming, hear the drums drumming, I want you to
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy.
I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, I think we should switch it up a little bit today and have you go first.
All right, I got a big number of 3,632. 3,632. That's Josh Allen's career playoff passing yards. With a 300-yard game, he will go from 17th, fittingly, he's 17, to around the top 12. And with a Super Bowl run, so about 2 more games, he can get into the all-time top 10 in playoff passing yardage.
Wow.
He's 21st all-time in playoff rushing yardage.
Wow. Holy
ahead
cow.
of Walter Payton rushing.
Wow. That is incredible. That is wild stuff.
He's gonna have to do it all. The least best team he's been on, least talent around him, he's got to do it.
Yeah, and he, I mean, I'm sure fine now, but a couple times in that game last weekend, kind of hobbled off the field, kind of limped a little bit
into
off
the tent
field.
once, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, so I mean, hopefully they definitely need him as close to 100% as he can be, and doesn't look like he is going to be at 100%. All right, my big number today is the number 50. Cooper Flagg ranks in the top 50 for points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks in this NBA season. Since the merger in the 76-77 season, the only rookies to finish a season in the top 50 in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks: Michael Jordan, who did it in the 84-85 season, Lionel Simmons, who did it in the 90-91 season, and Ben Simmons, who did it in the 2017-18 season. Hopefully, if Cooper Flagg joins those three by being in the top 50 at the end of the season in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, hopefully his career looks closer to Michael Jordan than it does Ben Simmons.
It does, and he's a little bit nicked up right now.
He is. Yeah, he's going to miss the game tonight against Utah. I don't know if he's officially out, but I know was doubtful for tonight's game.
So, Brian, the morning after the Sugar Bowl, get up real early to get back this way, and everybody in the sports world think everybody's into what you're into, and they're rolling through Sports Center's top 10 plays, and I'm getting dressed and I'm watching it, and number 3 was whatever, number 2 was whatever. I thought, well, number 1's got to be Lucas Carnero at the buzzer to win a Sugar Bowl. No, it was a Cooper Flagg donk from the night before.
Brett, of course.
Cooper Flagg donk. We're not going to get that again this year anytime.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I remember, it was, I guess, last year in his freshman year at Duke. I just can't remember the game it was, but it was around this time, and I was at dinner and was not in front of the TV, and my phone just starts blowing up with, oh my gosh, Cooper Flagg this, Cooper Flagg that, yeah. And I was like, oh man, I gotta find the dunk that all these people are talking about, because it's got to be insane. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just
a dunk.
Yeah, it was just a regular dunk.
I watched this one. I thought the same thing. I think he's going to take off from the other baseline.
Yeah.
It was like just a two-hand throwdown.
I was a little disappointed. Now, I do love me some Cooper Flagg. But yeah, it is certainly Cooper Flagg mania around certainly last year in college. And
he's rookie of the year right now, though, isn't he?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I think it would take a lot for that to change. With somebody else jumping up there. But some other guys playing really well as rookies.
Will the Mavericks make the playoffs?
I don't know.
Do they want to?
Yeah, that's the question. I really don't know if they even want to. I mean, right now,
that 10 seed in the West, somebody's got to be it.
Yeah, someone's got to be it. Right now, the Grizzlies are in the 10 seed at the West, tied with the Clippers. Dallas is 12th. I don't see a way. The only way I can see the Mavericks making the playoffs is if Anthony Davis gets back, stays healthy, Kyrie comes back, stays healthy, and you get something going. But right now with these injuries, some of the guys that they're having to throw out there, I don't see them getting to the playoffs the way this team looks right now. And you're right. I mean, they might get to a point where they go, we don't want to get to the playoffs. Let's just throw in the towel for this season. Let's get a good draft pick, and let's add another talented young player and start trying to figure it out next year.
Well, the 10 seed is going to come from 3 teams. It's not going to be New Orleans. It's not going to be Sacramento. And it's not going to be Utah. It's going to be either Memphis, the Clippers, or look out now, here they come.
Yep.
Or Dallas.
Yeah, one of those teams is going to find their way in there. And I don't know if any of them want to be.
It could be Portland falling into it, too.
No, it could certainly be Portland in there as well.
So the 9-10, losers out, winner gets the 8, or winner gets the winner of the 7-8, right?
That's right, yep. Or no, they get the loser.
The loser. They
winner,
get the loser of the 7-8. Nobody wants to be there because then if you ultimately come out of it, you got the first 2 in OKC, and that's at a deficit of about 40.
That's right. Yeah, no, thank you. I would not sign up for that. So it's going to get weird down the stretch of this season of kind of teams trying to figure out where they want to be, what they want to do, and tankathon starting all around the country.
And I know it's never going back. I know it makes a lot more money. Heck, at the high school level, we see all these far-flung playoffs because of how much money it generates. Every sport would be better tightening it up.
Oh, yeah.
NCAA tournament would be better. Just go back to 64.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think a lot of leagues would be better with less, not more.
But Miami wouldn't have gotten in an 18.
Yeah, no, I mean there are great stories that come from it. I think there are ways that some of these leagues have made it entertaining. Like, honestly, the play-in with the NBA, I think, has been really good since they have implemented that, the way that they've added those teams, but have still made it entertaining. So I think some of the ways that leagues are trying to figure out how do we add teams but continue to make it entertaining, other leagues just, I don't think, have been able to do that. So,
Brian, I really owe you 2 apologies. I've given you one. You've accepted it nicely. After I'm trying to tell you you're wrong about something when you were right,
Brett,
over the Tiger game. I feel terrible about it.
Brett, a lot more things that I care a lot more about than whether the Tigers are playing UTSA at home or away. I mean,
I bet this next one's one of them.
Okay.
We got to congratulate you. We got a new leader for Tiger Bankroll.
I've only been waiting nearly 2 hours for the pat on my back.
Look what it took for you to finally get it. I mean, I had to wrongly correct you.
Yes, yeah. Well, and
you were nice enough to accept it, and then I dragged around. It took 2 hours to get to it.
Well, Brett, and like you, I'm not one that's going to pat myself on the back. I mean, my arms aren't long enough to pat myself on the back. And so I wasn't going to bring it up, and so I was waiting. You
can't play for your own confidence.
I was like, no, I mean, what does that do for you, really? Yeah. So I was just waiting, and finally, I appreciate you pointing that out.
Tomorrow at 5:30, when we do NFL picks, the total score for the year, I'm at plus 22 points. You're at plus 14. Okay. That means with some me wrong, and you right, you can catch up. Landon's at minus 1 point for the year. NFL picks for the year. You're now at 56 and 54.
All right. How about that?
I'm at 55 and 55.
Wow. Okay.
Landon's 53 and 57.
Wow.
I'll take 500 in the NFL
I was about to say,
every year.
I think that's great picking from all of us on the season. I'll take
I do too.
that.
I think it's pretty good.
Oh, the NFL has been. I mean, the NFL is always brutal to pick. I feel like for me, it's been very brutal in recent years, so I will certainly take that any day.
12-7 group lock. 2 winners last weekend.
That's right. I love that.
This is group lock time of year, though.
Yeah, it kind of is, which is unfortunate.
Short supply and good teams.
Yeah, and you kind of have a good feeling of which side. It feels like everyone's kind of on the same side of who you go with. So, yeah.
If you think saying goodbye to some of our college football guests this week and next hard, tomorrow only 4 NFL games make up the First National Bank Friday football forecast schedule, and then the next week only 2, then nothing, and then Super Bowl 60, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to Monday when we were doing our Monday Night Football pick and preview and going, man, it's the last Monday night we'll have an NFL game, and we'll be talking NFL here. So, yeah, we're starting to get to the end with a lot of these things. It's sad.
Monday Night Bowl pick. Here's the bowl record.
All right.
I'm 24 and 21. You and Landon both are 23 and 22.
Whoa.
So if you go oppo,
holy cow.
you can end with a tie. I can tell you now, I'm taking Indiana.
I was about to say, Brett, I don't think we're going to be going Oppo on that game. I think
It's handing me the banner, and I'm going to fly it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pat myself on the back.
Well, Brett, as you should. For that, as you should. You know, I mean, I think there are times to pat yourself on the back and times not.
That's got to be it.
I think when it's the end of the season and you've won it for an entire year, that's when you can pat yourself on the back. When you just win a Tiger bankroll game on January 14th and regain the lead, not the time to pat yourself on the back. A lot can go wrong the final month and a half of the season, you know?
Yeah, especially when we start emptying the holster.
That's right. When we get down to March, and Brett, just being honest, with this team, we really never know when the last game will be.
We don't know when the end's going to be. That's right. It's going to be hard.
It's going to be really hard.
Is this the night I empty out?
Mm-hmm. So it's going to be really, really weird. But we need to get to another break, and when we return, we're going to talk those Tigers. Greg Gaston, he was on the call last night on ESPN Plus for that Tigers game against Temple. We'll talk a lot of basketball. We'll talk some football. We'll do it next with Greg Gaston.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used, they've got it with fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters, 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road.
What's wrong, Buckaroo?
Buckaroo?
I don't know. It just seemed like the right thing to say. You look a little down.
I just realized I didn't get a present from my Aunt Doraline.
And you thought Buckaroo sounded weird. I know what you can get her.
I know what you're thinking. I should get her a Central Barbecue gift card.
Well, yes, Central Barbecue gift cards are the perfect gift, even a late one.
I'm pretty sure I gave her a Central Barbecue gift card last year.
And now she's due for another one. Seriously. You know she's already used the one from last year.
That's true.
Doraline.
Buckaroo.
It's a family name.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Your Memphis Tiger men's basketball team is back home for another big conference matchup. The Tigers take on the UTSA Roadrunners Sunday, January 18th at 5 at FedEx Forum. Join us as we honor and celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in partnership with the National Civil Rights Museum, including a special ticket pack that features a complimentary ticket to the museum. Plus, the first 1,000 fans will receive a Thierno Sella trading card. Get your tickets now by visiting GoTigersGo.com for more information or to grab your seats today. Go Tigers Go!
Sports 56 traffic.
The traffic's still pretty good right now on 55 headed south of Memphis, but it's busy down through in DeSoto County with some radar. At least that was the case earlier. Now it's heavy over here on 40 East, right on schedule, passing Sycamore View Road, pushing on out towards Fayette County. Weimer's Jewelry, your Valentine's Day headquarters. Go by and see them this Valentine's Day season at 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden, weekdays from 11 to 1. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our 5 o'clock hour on this Thursday afternoon. And we got to talk the Tigers, and we do that every Thursday afternoon with Greg Gaston.
From the Tigers sideline, it's Tigers Talk with Memphis broadcasting legend Greg Gaston. Hear Greg weekday mornings on Sports 56 Mornings, along with Eli Savoy from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter X at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant and Brett.
Greg Gaston joins us now to talk Tigers and a lot to get to. Let's start with the basketball team. They were in action last night. I know you were on the call on ESPN Plus with Trey Draper for that game against Temple. A 2-point win, a game where the Tigers led by double digits with less than 10 minutes to go in the game. They give up a big run by the Owls and ultimately are able to hang on for a 2-point win. Your takeaways from the win last night over Temple?
Well, first of all, guys, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's
Good,
been a while.
good to be back on the program. Bryant's introduction, which is normally the case, is every week.
Yeah.
I'm on with you guys. It feels like it's been 2 months, seriously, since I've been on because of the holidays and Ole Miss making the run and all that good stuff. Always great to be with you guys. Thanks again for having me on weekly. As far as last night is concerned, look, it got scary there, didn't it? At the end, Memphis was in control, 13-point lead. You got to put away teams, and they struggled down the stretch. They weren't making shots. Give Temple credit with heavy hearts playing that game after their assistant coach had just passed away, Bill Courtney, on Monday night, and they had a pretty good look at a chance to tie the game. Memphis eked out the win. Look, first of all, you have to win at home. You better win at home. Memphis is a gaudy home record. That would have been an absolute disaster, but people left that building and called into my show this morning and still, when is a win a loss? When people feel that way, that it was lucky. It's one of those breathe a sigh of relief that Memphis was able to hold on and get this victory in a real ugly game, defensive battle. If you like defensive games, but you want to see some points in basketball. You want to see some shot making, and last night certainly wasn't the case. But look, the Tigers got the dub, and that's the most important thing.
That was a Mr. Iba special last night, wasn't it?
That was a throwback to 40s and 50s, I think.
Somebody was there with the new peach basket to put back up if it would have been overtime.
Exactly. I don't think they had the shot clock working last night. I guess
joking.
Four corners.
Let me preface this all. Everybody here, jokingly, I had a friend of mine that just hated all the Ibas. There was one at Baylor. The Tigers had one. Mr. Iba. There was a lot of Ibas out there. He was joking. And he said one time, it was like in the middle of the summer, too. We're talking college basketball. And he said, if I ever hear of an Iba family reunion, I'm loading my car with dynamite and driving my car right into it.
Man, the poor Ibis. What did they
do? Yeah. Oh, man. Well, last night in that game, as ugly as it was, it also came with some injuries going into the night. Julius Thedford, Tierna Silla, both out, and then just about 10 or so minutes into the game, Aaron Bradshaw goes down with an injury. They had to carry him off the court. He reappeared on the bench in a walking boot on crutches after the game. Penny Hardaway said no structural damage. What did you see, and how long do you think this could be where the Tigers could be without Aaron Bradshaw?
It was scary because having a front row seat to that and then seeing the replays over and over again, looked like his knee buckled, and it was kind of a double whammy. It was an ankle and a knee. But as you said, at least from Penny and what he heard from the medical team, no structural damage. That is good news. Sunday they play UTSA, and that's just not a good basketball team. I can't imagine that he would be, even if he's able to go, I don't think he will play at all on Sunday. Hopefully he won't miss more than that, because if he does, that's a big loss for Memphis. He had played extremely well in the loss Sunday at Florida Atlantic, scored a career-high 21 points. Seems to have found his way a bit the last couple of games. It's been an absolutely slow process. But it also limits you with the bigs when you go up against bigger teams. They got out-rebounded last night. They got pounded on the boards Sunday against Florida Atlantic. And if you lose Bradshaw, that's more pressure on a young guy like McJock, who's still trying to figure out the game, especially the American game. So hopefully it's not more than maybe a game. But, again, that's just purely speculation on my part. It did look very scary when that knee buckled.
Greg, I think it all starts with Doug McDaniel. After that, who's the one or two you want to see unlocked and really flourish in this second half of the season?
Sincere Parker is a scorer. They don't have many options scoring the basketball. I think Sincere Parker, he made that big shot down the stretch, that baseline move.
Should he be in the starting lineup?
Yes, I think so. And I'm surprised that he really hasn't been. He started a few games. Of course, everybody has. You started a game. Brian started two. But, yeah, I think Sincere Parker is a very important player. I think Thetford is as well, who missed the game yesterday with the injury. And Thetford is a guy who just goes 110 miles per hour. He gets your rebounds. And I like he's got that energy that you want. I think those two guys are pivotal. And I think there's a chance Curtis Gibbons III. Let's remember what that guy was coming out of high school. He transferred to Montverde for his final year. Didn't play much at LSU, but I think he's very talented. And he had that stretch in the second half last night where he had the 2 threes and the drive for a bucket for an 8-point run, an 8-0 run by Curtis Gibbons himself. So I think he's important as well. So those are the guys I would look at, Brett.
Yeah. Well, when you talk about the starting lineup, Penny Hardaway has come out a couple of times this year, and I think it was after the Rice game where he said that they felt like they figured something out in the second half in terms of the guys that he could rely on, but we continue to see different starting lineups seemingly every game. I believe last night the 12th different starting lineup through the first 16 games. I mean, you can't even ask what is the starting lineup because we don't even really have one, but do you think this is just going to be what we see the rest of the season? We're at the halfway point of the year. Do you think we're ever going to get some sort of consistency at the starting five, or do you think it will continue to look like this where every single game he's throwing out different pieces?
Yeah, Tigers don't change their stripes, and Benny's a Tiger through and through. He can say every coach's show that he's going to limit the rotation, and he knows his guys. Quite frankly, the answer to that question is no. I don't think he does. Not his fault in the sense that he just hasn't seen those 5 guys materialize. So I would think as we continue on this season, you'll probably see certain games where he goes small like he did last night because Temple wasn't a big team. Other games that he'll go big or at least try to go big. It all depends on the availability. And as far as the rotation is concerned, there's just no way you're getting 7 or 8. Last night, even without Thetford and Silla, who remember he started a few games early in the season, he still played 11 guys. So, no, I don't believe that. I don't even know if he's capable of limiting the roster. We've seen a couple of times late in the second half, well, let's say 8-9 minutes to go in a game where he's limited to about 6 guys, maybe 7 guys down the stretch. That's a possibility. But throughout the game, he's going to continue to use that bench. There's no question about it.
Greg, what would be your description of Coach Hardaway right now? Bewildered, frustrated, angry? How would you label him right now? Because after the loss to FAU, he said he was embarrassed and he apologized. He just as stand up as you can be. But we've seen a happier comportment from Penny Hardaway, haven't we?
Yes, that's no question about it. It's all of the things that you just described. I love the word bewildered. And that's what I think is also confused people out there. They're like, wait a minute. You've had these players since the summer. You've played 16 games. You played a couple of exhibitions as well. You practice all the time. How can it still be confusing? How do you still not know the starting lineup or the rotation. You have assistant coaches, a couple of them that have been around a while, like Mike Davis. Certainly, they have to be voicing their opinion, even though the buck stops with Penny. I think frustration is there.
Yeah.
To some degree, anger when he doesn't get the guys to perform the way he needs them to. That's why we've had a player that did not play a game was held out. We've seen a couple of players not play a half because they were held out. We've seen, or at least we've heard about players being docked money, NIL money for performance. So I think that's a part of it too. Frustration. There's no question he's frustrated. But I think I love the first word you used, bewildered, confused. Just doesn't have a grasp on what this team is capable of doing. And we know from our eyes that we have seen in instances this team perform well, unfortunately not consistently, and not consistently within a game either. Last night they should have put that thing away and won by 20. Comes down to the final moments. I don't need to go through all the other games they've played this year, the close calls, the implosion down the stretch against Wake Forest. We've seen them play well, so that's why there's still that question mark. I'm not, as a broadcaster and somebody close to the program, I look at this team, try to look and be honest, and I don't think it's a team that you just say, oh, they're bad. I don't think they're this great team. I think they're average with the chance to become above average, but I've seen bits and pieces of them actually playing well, and that's why I haven't given up on this team somehow, some way, finding their stride as this season continues.
Greg, that's laid out very fairly because a bad team doesn't play like they did for 39 minutes against Purdue.
Right, exactly. We've seen it. We've all seen it. So I think it's unfair to go, they stink. The talent's bad. Do I think this is as good a team talent-wise as we've seen? No. And that's interesting because, as you guys know, Penny Hardaway said it was the second most talented team that he has assembled. And so maybe they miscalculated on some of these guys. But we've also seen, as you said, Purdue. We saw them play well against Vanderbilt. Went to overtime. Should have won that game. Should have won the Wake Forest game. Played Mississippi State pretty good. They have exactly. That's a great point. They have shown signs, but I don't think you walk out of what we've seen so far, as we are now officially beyond the halfway point of the season, and go, oh, they're a terrific team. Oh, they're a terrible team. They're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, they absolutely are. We're talking to Greg Gaston. He talks Tigers with us every single Thursday. It's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis. They have serious vans for serious work at 4430 American Way. They're the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet, new or used? Well, they've got it with fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter van headquarters. Give them a call, 901-237-9302, or online at sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road. Well, Greg, we've been talking about it for the last, I guess I was about to say the last couple of weeks, but when we last talked with you before Christmas, before the new year, we talked a lot about that final non-conference opponent for Tiger football for the 2026 season. Today it became official. UNLV, they'll go out there to Las Vegas this year, a week 0 game for the Tigers and the Rebels. And then in 2029, UNLV will make the return trip to
Greg's
Memphis.
going to need my wheelbarrow to go out there and bring all those winnings.
He absolutely will. What do you make of the news, Memphis and UNLV setting up home and home?
I wanted so much to tell you guys about 3 weeks ago.
I know you did.
I couldn't. But, yeah, that was something that we had known for a while, and really good job by the university to keep it tight-lipped. And they had to make sure that all the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed, and they got the deal done. I think it's really cool to play UNLV. Again, one of the better programs now, I think, under Mullen in the group of 5, soon to be group of 6. I'm not a real big fan, and I know they tried like heck to make it a home game. I'm not a big fan of out to Vegas, come home, and then a couple weeks later you're out to Boise. That's a lot of travel, and that's a couple of challenging games for Memphis. But look, it beats throw in a directional school on there, another 1AA, and they weren't going to go in that direction. I know that Dr. Scott had reached out to Louisville, was certainly hoping that they could find a way to make a deal, and it just didn't happen. So desperate times, and you start looking at all options, and I think for, again, a limited amount of options that you could actually make happen to be able to get UNLV, I think it's a pretty good deal. Again, I would have loved to have seen a home game with UNLV in 26 and the roadie in 29, but it just wasn't to be. So it's going to be a lot of frequent flyer miles for the Tigers coming up in the fall.
It will, at UNLV, and then the traditional opener for most, week 1, home against Arkansas State, and then out to Boise. That's a tough first 3 games for the new head coach.
It really is. You jump right into the fire. You're talking about, of course, Boise now will join the PAC, whatever they want to call that, and then UNLV will probably be near the top of the Mountain West as they're staying put. 2 of your first 3, Arkansas State, no pushover. They've had battles with Memphis, but certainly to have 2 of those games in the first 3 against very formidable group of 6 opponents and on the road, that's putting your foot in the deep end right off the bat.
Yeah, and Dr. Scott's got his schedule really set through 2030, except for an FCS opponent, and everybody's waiting kind of to see which way college football goes. 26, we just went through. 27 at Arkansas State, home against Southern Miss, at Middle, waiting for an FCS opponent. In 2028, I make no plans around this, but it says at Arkansas, and then Mississippi State at home and Arkansas State at home, waiting for FCS. In 29, Arkansas State in Jonesboro, and then the return game from UNLV, and at Starkville against Mississippi State, waiting for FCS there. And then in 2030, Boise State at home, at Southern Miss, at Arkansas. But if there's no at Arkansas in 2028, I wouldn't be saving up for 2030. Would you?
No, and if you were to put me, against the firing squad, and I had to give the right answer, I would say more than likely those games will never take place with Arkansas. Neither one of them. Mississippi State will be interesting. Again, we're heading down that road where there's less and less opportunities. I don't know about that one either. So there could still be, even though he's putting his ducks in a row for the schedule for the next 4, 5, 6 years, subject to change, as we all know.
And I hope subject to a big penalty for anybody welshing on the deal like he got for the coordinator. That was really smart business.
I love these contracts that will help you financially if things turn around and don't work out. And I was stunned to see that. I had no idea until I read it about the DC. For those who don't know what we're talking about, Seymour, right? Who came with him from Southern Miss, leaving to go to Georgia Tech, which is understandable. But now Georgia Tech on the hook for $2 million that will come back to the University of Memphis for losing a coordinator who was going to be paid $1 million?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is that correct? So $1 million, and they're going to get $2 million in penalty.
It's crazy. I love it.
Wow, I love it too. I mean, shrewd lawyers, attorneys that are putting these contracts together, and shrewd moves by Dr. Scott as well.
Yeah, it really is. Greg, I know y'all had Coach on the show. I believe what was that, last Thursday? Coach Huff was on the show, and when he was on, it was a great interview. It's up on featured audio if anybody missed it. But it was a great interview. When he was on, it was, I believe, a couple days after Marcus Stokes had committed but hadn't officially signed and was still on his visit, so he couldn't talk about Marcus Stokes with y'all. But now Tigers have 2 former 4-star quarterbacks signed to the program. Marcus Stokes, who comes up from West Florida, and Aaron Nolan, who comes over from South Carolina. I mean, to have 2 former 4-stars in the quarterback room, that's a good spot to be in. What do you make of these 2 quarterbacks?
Yeah, I like what he did. By the way, I would never put a coach in a predicament. I was told that things were already done and signed, and so that's the only reason I brought that up. But I guess officially still on campus, and they didn't release the information. I think it's got to be the release from the university, so I apologize for jumping the gun there. But yeah, look, Marcus Stokes is the the kind of quarterback he talked about in his press conference, a guy who can run, he can move, he can throw, and get out of the pocket. He does not want just strictly a pocket passer. He wants a guy that they can certainly take advantage of with the legs as well. So Stokes, small school, big numbers, but remember, recruited out of high school by the University of Florida, got into a situation there, but certainly making the most of a second chance with West Florida, and now moving up to FBS football. So it's obviously a jump in competition, but very excited about that. And then all of a sudden, Aaron Nolan commits, a guy who was much heralded coming out of high school, who went to Ohio State, as you guys know, then to South Carolina, nowhere to play when you look at some of those quarterbacks that are at Ohio State, and of course with Lenora Sellers at South Carolina. So looking for a place to play, and he's got to feel confident that he's going to come in and win the job and get a chance to play. But you can't beat this, to have two quarterbacks that are going to compete, legitimate compete. Because you think about it, when Seth Hennigan came, even as a freshman, when you knew he was taking over the job and it was announced, for 4 years, as much as Ryan Silverfield would tell you there was competition, there wasn't competition. It was Seth Hennigan. And last year, again, Coach Silverfield would tell you that there wasn't competition with A.J. Hill, the true freshman, with Arrington Maiden, and with Brendan Lewis. He said there was competition. We knew there wasn't competition. Brendan Lewis was coming in for 1 year, and he was going to play. This is legitimate competition. There is no question that these are two choices. Hopefully both will be terrific, and Coach Huff will have the pick of the litter here. Now, what it means down the road with the portal and all that, I'm not even going to worry about that. All I know is you got two guys that have signed on the dotted line that don't mind competition, especially Nolan, because he was the second one to sign, that they both feel confident that they can lead this Tigers team. So I'm very excited about that quarterback room.
And, Greg, every fan base wants new coach and new quarterback to be Kurt Signetti and Trinidad Chambliss.
Every program should be so lucky to be able to land that coach and that quarterback. But, again, you just look at where they were coming out of high school and the possibility, right? So I think people feel pretty good about guys who were much heralded, that were highly respected, and thinking that maybe here in Memphis is where they find their niche, they find their way, and it leads to big things, because we know, obviously, the quarterback, the most important position in all of sports. And if you got your quarterback, especially if you got two quarterbacks, you're in pretty good shape, Yeah,
that's exactly right. They've done a really nice job so far in the transfer portal with all the guys they have signed. But, Greg, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll actually talk to you again next week. This ain't going to be another thing where we're off for a million weeks. We'll actually talk to you again next week.
It sounds good. Great to be back with you guys.
Thank
you, Greg.
Greg Gaston joining us like he does every single Thursday. Talk Tigers football and basketball. A ton going on with both. For basketball, it's what's going on with these games. Football, he's trying to build a roster for next season. And so far, Coach Huff has done a really nice job putting together a team through the transfer portal. But we're going to get to a break here in a second. Before we do that, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsors, Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented teams ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out those brand new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. Perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing, available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to JaguarBluffCity.com. But head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback with hands-on one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation size courts, 3 high school size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Just like Bell Tavern is a haven from the heat during summer, it's just as much a refuge from the cold this time of year. Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar, has always specialized in cozy. Whether it's a cool, not too brightly lit escape from hot weather, or a warm, not too brightly lit escape from winter, the atmosphere at Bell Tavern simply cannot be beat. Just because it's chilly outside doesn't mean you might not be craving a cold beer, or a signature cocktail, or maybe just the company of new friends. So stop by and watch the frigid world pass by Bell Tavern.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet piquilla peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, good evening. Watching it really build now as that traffic pushes out towards Fayette County on 40 East here at Chambers Chapel, Canada Road. A little bit of radar out in this area earlier as you head out towards Fayette County, so be careful. Trying to get south of Memphis. It's moving right now as that gets heavier on 55 southbound down through South Haven. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, your full-service family-owned jewelry store. Stop by this Valentine's season, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Here comes the hero man, says he's a people fan.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending and a handful of things trending this afternoon, but the big news out of the NFL that we've not been able to talk about this afternoon, John Harbaugh, he has a new home as he'll be the next head coach for the New York Giants. It felt like it was moving this way. I mean, really, right after he was fired by the Ravens. That same day, reports out there that he was the favorite to land in New York. And I think when you look at those spots that are in more of a rough spot that we're looking for a head coach. I think the Jets are probably, out of those teams, in the best spot right now of kind of that rebuild.
Yeah, I kind of like it for Jackson Dart to get a veteran, seasoned, seen it all coach like that. I thought Brian Daboll did as best he could in the abbreviated year with Jackson Dart, and he was really the reason why they drafted him with that second first round pick. They were going defense with the first one. And Daboll really fought for Dart at the bowl game last week, and it was caught on not an open mic, but somebody was zeroed in on their camera phone of Dart, and clearly caught lip reading an Ole Miss analyst asked him, "So who's your coach going to be?" And you can clearly see he said Stefanski or Harbaugh.
No, the lip readers are always out on social media.
Boy, they're out, aren't they?
Man, they are. And I've seen a lot of different lip readings on what happened with John Vince yesterday. But yeah, you're right. You didn't need to be an expert lip reader to figure out what Jackson Dart was saying, talking at the bowl game. So yeah, it felt pretty good, and it felt like he was maybe not in the midst of the conversations with them, but it felt like the Giants kept Jackson Dart up to date on what was going on with who they were going to pick as next head coach.
I think they should now. Yeah. He hadn't done enough that he had any type of veto power, but I think you want your second year quarterback at least up to speed on things. Yeah. And it was the full court press by the Tisch Mara family, even Eli Manning and others weighing in, trying to get Harbaugh to New York.
Yeah, so now they have their guy, and we'll see who the next team is to hire a head coach. I believe he was.
Now we can have a Harbaugh boy Super Bowl
again.
Right.
Yes, we can. We can.
Couldn't with two AFC guys. Can now.
And I think there was some quote out there where Harbaugh was, one of the Harbaughs, I don't remember which one it was saying like, I'd like to get in different conferences now that we have that opportunity. So maybe we'll see that type of Super Bowl matchup in the future, which would be a lot of fun. But
8 jobs still open.
Yes, who's next? Who makes the next hire?
I don't know who the team is, but I think it will be Stefanski.
Yeah, it feels like Stefanski will be the next name.
And I heard a great premise today that he showed and how he kind of took his lumps with Cleveland, but he showed he could coach, and I think everybody recognizes the nuclear bomb that was Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I mean it was a terrible situation for any coach to be in with Cleveland. I mean, when you go out there, not only do you go and you trade for that quarterback that in Deshaun Watson that was never available, had all the off the field issues and scandals going on, but then you turn around after that and you go into last year's draft and you draft not one but 2 quarterbacks, and one of them is not his fault, I guess not all his fault, but is a massive name and a guy that is going to make
massive
all
legacy.
the headlines. And so now you've got, we don't really have a quarterback. We just drafted 2 quarterbacks, and now we've got a full-on quarterback battle, and all eyes are going to be on it based on 2 guys that were drafted in later rounds of this NFL draft. All eyes are going to be on which one of those, not even which one of them plays. Brett, we were in the summer talking about who was taking second-team snaps. Yeah. Was it Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders?
For the Browns.
Yes, the microscope was on his team way more than it was any other team that was in that spot. And so, yeah, it was a very difficult situation to be in.
Landon, what would Kevin Stefanski as head coach of the Titans do for you? Much?
I don't know. It's really up in the air right now for me as who's going to be the head coach.
Who would you want it to be? I guess is the next question.
I mean, I'm hearing a lot of different stuff out there. I've been pretty outspoken about this. I would love to have the DC for the Rams, Chris Shula, be the next guy, being under Sean McVay, the leadership, his knowledge of ball. I think he would do great things here. I know Mike McDaniels is still on the board, and I feel like he would do really well with this offense and giving it a much needed revitalization. But I'm not sure. I don't really have like a clear go-to guy right now.
Coaching seniority, if we don't have any more changes, one will be Andy Reid. Boy, he earned it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Andy Reid, just towering over the whole league now like he did the punt, pass, and kick competition in
That's right.
1973, didn't he?
That's right.
That's just massive, isn't
Oh,
it?
man.
I mean, the little kid behind. What happened to the little kid behind him?
It's a great question. I
Hope
don't
he
know.
had a good life.
Yeah, we need that. Now that's real journalism right there. Someone go and find that kid that was behind him.
It really is real
I'm
journalism, isn't it?
with it. We need someone to go out there and do it.
Andy Reid 1, Sean McDermott 2, Sean McVay 3, Kyle Shanahan 4. Wonder if his dad ever got as high as 4.
It's a good question. I doubt it.
Not doing that research.
No, that's a lot of research.
5, Matt LaFleur for now.
Yeah.
As we kind of wait on Green Bay. 6, shockingly, Zach Taylor. Wow.
Yeah.
7, Dan Campbell. 8, Nick Sirianni. 9, Kevin O'Connell. And 10, Todd Bowles.
Wow. Yeah, some of those names that you listed down, in the 7, 8, 9, 10 range. Surprised to hear that they're in the top 10, but hey,
that they're in the league.
Well, that's another one of them. But yeah, I mean that's the NFL for you, and
I don't think Sean McDermott could take a 35-3 loss this weekend. I don't think that's going to happen,
No.
but I don't think he could withstand it.
There would definitely be a lot of questions, and it would be very uncomfortable after that if it was a very lopsided loss. So we'll see what happens this weekend.
That's the only fragile one this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
Now, Sean McVay's just goofy enough. Win it all, I'm going to do TV.
He is, I wouldn't put anything past him. I
wouldn't either.
I could see him going a lot of different ways, but yeah, it feels like McDermott's the only one this weekend.
The best Mike Tomlin rumor I saw today on the Twitter machine, strong indications of sitting out next year and maybe be the Steeler replacement for Steeler Bill Cowher on CBS's show, or the Steeler for Steeler trade on Monday Night Countdown for Ryan Clark.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it, after that news came out earlier this week. I think he would be perfect on television. I think he would be awesome. I think he's a coach that a lot of people around the league, a lot of fans really enjoyed watching and listening to. And so, yeah, I mean, I think he'd be great in one of those roles. I'd be all for it.
I would be too. I just wonder if that would be enough for him.
Yeah, well,
that's always the question, though. It was the question. Bryant, there was the time. Oh, Madden won't do this, but a year or two, he'll be back. Never thought about coming back.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's one of those, and it feels like we go through that in every sport with coaches, and I think everyone's different, and Mike Tomlin, just looking at him and watching him for all these years, he feels like one that has to have football and needs to be a coach, but. We'll find out, but I think he would be great in either role, but definitely a lot of questions on kind of where he goes, certainly next year, but more kind of in the future after next season.
We're all getting this new 2026 thing started, and there's nothing like getting into a new All-Star Chevy Silverado to start this new year in drive. Every new 26 Chevy Silverado you could want is right there in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, first exit. When you cross into Mississippi on Highway 78, take Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there where January deals that add up to thousands in savings and financing as low as 1.9. Your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star. Military first responders, instant extra $500 bonus. If you've been looking for a new 26 Traverse with a third row seat, they're right there at All-Star in Olive Branch. For the best selection of barely driven certified Chevys, All-Star is the place to be. Suburbans, a nice Yukon, so many Silverados, they have them all. Come check out the huge savings and the huge selection at All-Star with all the certified Chevys and the hottest pre-owns right there in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. And if you have any vehicle you want to sell, whether you bought it there or not, bring it to All-Star and get the most money back for your deal today or first thing tomorrow morning. Together, let's drive to All-Star. Don't miss the Start the New Year in Drive event going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, before we get to our final break, we mentioned it earlier, but the Grizzlies lost the first leg of the European trip, 118-111 against the Magic. A really fun game, a game where the Grizzlies led by 20 points in the first half. The Magic cut into it. They take a lead in the second half, and then Grizzlies ultimately get the lead in the fourth quarter, and the Magic just make enough shots down the stretch and hold the Grizzlies to secure that win. But Jaren Jackson Jr., 30 points, 12 for 22 from the field. The Grizzlies made 17 three-pointers, 47% from three in that game. So it's a loss, fun game, but we'll see what they look like on Sunday in London.
I think everybody, especially as you get older, and you can tell how croupy and cruddy I've been, and it didn't hit until after I got home. But a real fear is to get way away from home and be ill.
Sure.
If you've been following the story of the NASA SpaceX crew member that having the medical attention, and I think are bringing them back home because of it.
Really? I have not paid attention.
That's
to
really a long way from home.
Yeah, Brett, I'm one that, everyone talks about, when I was a kid, I really never wanted to be like an astronaut or anything like that. Like, I'm good. I'm good here. I'm good. I don't really want to be in space.
When Evel Knievel couldn't go over those waterfalls, that was the end of it.
Yeah, I've never really wanted to be in space, but I certainly would not want to be sick in space. I mean, that just feels like 10 times worse.
I don't want to be sick 10 minutes from home.
Yeah, I certainly.
Much less in space.
Yeah, no, I certainly don't want to be in space sick. A lot can go wrong when you're sick in space. Yeah. But that's interesting. But no, definitely concerned whenever you're traveling with the illnesses. I guess that counts with international travel too, instead of or interstellar travel.
That's why I'm going to keep it real close to the house.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that is exactly right. Well, let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Moe's Crunch Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Woohoo! Hear that? That's what having fewer hot flashes and night sweats can sound like. Veoza is the #1 prescribed hormone-free treatment FDA approved for moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms, also known as hot flashes and night sweats, due to menopause. Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems, such as feeling more tired than usual, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Ask your doctor about Veoza. To learn more, call 1-866-239-1637 or go to Veoza.com. That's VEOZAH.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Humdinger's Corporate Catering. Enjoy tacos made with crunchy slaw, grilled fish, and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. Find out more, call Jenny Nash at 901-606-3172.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Say you stand by your man. Tell me something.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries. Its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
It's obviously Crunch Time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need catering? Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call, 901-606-3172, Moe's.com. It's your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today is we're now down to just 3 teams in college basketball that are undefeated. Arizona is currently the number 1 team in the AP poll. Nebraska, who's also 17-0, and Miami, Ohio, who is 18-0 after we saw losses the last couple of nights. Iowa State, Vanderbilt, only 3, and now the question becomes, how long do these 3 teams stay undefeated? So looking at their schedules, Arizona, UCF coming up on the road. That's a UCF team that beat Kansas earlier this season at home. Cincinnati at home seems very winnable. Wake Forest at home, winnable game. BYU on the road Monday, January 26th. That could be the game where Arizona could take its first loss. Nebraska, you look at their schedule, a couple games coming up, Northwestern, Washington, Minnesota, seem like winnable games, but then listen to this week for Nebraska. After what they could be 20-0, Michigan, Illinois. Michigan on the road, Illinois at home in the same week. That'll be really tough. Miami, Ohio, can't really tell you much about the opponents they're playing coming up. Maybe they have the best chance of going the longest while being undefeated.
Right. What if we had a college sports year that Indiana won it in football and Nebraska won it in basketball? End of time.
Well, yeah, no, that's got to be a sign of something.
Something big,
something bad. I can tell you that.
I learned that. I didn't think Vanderbilt was that good, and they had a blowout loss to a pretty okay Texas team. Has been playing better lately, but I don't think the SEC is very good, and I don't know that they're even a Final Four team. I don't know if there are many Elite Eight teams. Maybe Bama, maybe Arkansas. Maybe Florida gets hot, but it's a lot of maybes. And
it's a lot
with
of maybes
maybe, there's maybe not.
Yeah, a lot of doubt in there with these teams. What I could have done without the stories coming out with this college basketball gambling scandal. 26 people were charged by federal prosecutors on Thursday, including several former and current players. The FBI claims that more than 39 college basketball players on at least 17 Division I teams, quote, fixed and attempted to fix, end of quote, more than 29 games during the 2023-24 season and the 2024-25 season in one of the biggest gambling conspiracies in American sports histories. There were 4 current players that were listed. Kennesaw State's Simeon Cottle, who was the preseason Conference USA Player of the Year, currently averaging 20.2 points per game for Kennesaw State. Delaware State's Camion Shell, Eastern Michigan's Carlos Hart, and Texas Southern's Omar Carusi. Those were the 4 players that were listed among those 26 players. A lot of teams involved with this. It is a wild time with college athletics.
I could have done without. I could have done without this story, and I could have done without my reaction to it. It was a big yawn. And it's one of the biggest scandals ever, but we're so desensitized to everything now in society, in sport. This doesn't have the impact of a lot of the scandals. I mean, look, Tulane was wrongly, Hot Rod Williams was wrongly named a long time ago in a deal. They shut the program down over it. They're not shutting anything down over this.
No,
this guy's very guilty.
Yeah, no, very, and it's so weird. And you're right with how accessible it is, how legal it is now. I mean, it's such a different reaction. I mean, just thinking back about some of the stories of some of the other gambling scandals when it was just a complete no-no across the entire United States of sports gambling at all, and now this, where we're all just kind of yawning at it.
And I don't ever remember a college football point-shaving scandal. We'll ask Bruce Marshall about tomorrow. It's always college basketball.
Yeah, and Bruce would be a really good person to ask. He would certainly know if there has been one, but definitely a weird story and a sad story to see with college basketball.
Now, Art Schleister was involved in a lot of crazy stuff.
Sure.
But I don't even think it ever hit that he was throwing a game.
No, I don't think so. Where are you beaming tonight?
Me too, and I wish I was with that chamber and Visitors Convention Bureau trip to Germany and to London that they're on.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the official guest list for that and what it's costing. And I hope we get something out of it.
Yeah.
Let's get a lease signed.
Yeah, no, I hope so. And some news coming out earlier today of money coming to Beale Street. So hopefully that is good news for the Grizzlies moving forward and maybe a start on some sort of deal.
A lot of hogs at the slot. Not get a lot done.
That's exactly right. Landon, this is very rare. Where are you beaming tonight?
Where else could I beam but to the Penguins and Flyers matchup?
Wow! Penguins and
Our rivalry.
Flyers! Landon's Penguins, Brett's Flyers, a rivalry.
How are my Flyers doing?
I don't think they're doing great. I'll be honest, I don't know where they are.
They're not doing too bad. 22-15-8 on the year.
Not bad at all.
Playoffs?
Oh, yeah, I think. I don't know. Maybe.
My Penguins 21-14-10.
Let's see. I think
both tied at 52
Leaves
points
can't
on
hurt
the year.
me anymore.
No, the Leafs cannot hurt you anymore, Brett. That is exactly right. Yeah, I think right now the Flyers are in playoff contention. So yeah, that will be one on ESPN nonetheless. But beam me tonight, some good college basketball action. Let's go with this Knicks-Warriors game later tonight on Prime Video. Will be a lot of fun.
That's a good one. 12-5 Arkansas State at 12-5 South Alabama. Arkansas State's got another coach doing it.
They do. No, they've run it back again with a different Alabama assistant. He's doing a really good job in his first year, and yeah, that will be a really fun mid-major game tonight. So a lot of college basketball to watch, some NBA to watch as well. If you like the hockey, you get a doubleheader on ESPN tonight, so should be a lot of fun. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.